everyone, and welcome to Super Sunday here on the APAT show. Tonight we're joined by two giants of the APAT scene in Colin McCarthy and Stuart Pillinger. Colin and Stu will be calling your play in tonight's games and telling us a bit more about themselves and how they got into poker. Okay, we'll be back with the guys and Lee after this. Lee, I have absolutely no idea who these people are. Can we get rid of them?
Well, Des, we have two members of the A team in the house tonight, representing the past couple of weeks for the poker squads. We only have Stuart Pillinger and Colin McCarthy. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello, guys.
Hey, guys, lovely to talk to you. We were saying in the pre-show that actually we haven't had a chat, but of course I know you guys all too well, particularly during lockdown, where Colin seems to, in particular, have been on somewhat of a hot streak. Lee, I believe Colin is what, top of MVP this week?
Well, yeah, he's top of MVP. They're both currently in the top team in squads for the week, but of course we've already gone and balked them on getting them on the show, Des, because they both already bust for tonight. I mean, what are we like, eh? What are we like?
It's an absolute nightmare, Lee. We do this all the time. Well, listen, I look forward to, learning about who the guys are, what their poker backgrounds are, what they've been doing through lockdown and all of that good stuff. But I'm sure I'm not alone in that. I'm sure we've got a bunch of people out there watching in, listening in, who are looking forward to, finding out about the guys that have been taking their chips over the last few weeks. So let me just quickly, if I can, we've got Elaine Cosgrove out there. Okay, Ben Foote is there as well. Tony Trippier still on the intravenous gin drips, as I understand it, Lee, and that's not a bad thing. Joe Chilmaid is with us and says, good evening, guys. Asa McGrath is there as well. Andy Bayliss, Ellen Gascoigne, right, of course. Kevin Shutt. Peter Wigglesworth is with us as well. Dean Pearson, and there's a bunch of other people. So there's a lot of people on tonight, Lee. What exactly are they playing? What are we on tonight?
Right then, so it's Sunday night, which means it's the Sunday roller. There's $1,500 in that prize pool. We're paying top four tonight, and we've just burst the bubble, so we're in the money there. 4 players remaining. Joe Gaynard's still going strong there, as is Edvinus Jankatiris as well. So that's all playing down to a winner. But obviously our main focus of the night is poker squads. It's the culmination of the week. Game week 16. There's 16 weeks of poker squads we've been going at now. Absolutely crazy. 113 runners tonight. We are paying the top 16. Unfortunately, our guests aren't going to be in the cash. However, they've got teammates that are all vying for the top places for the added value for the week. Down to 53 players in that. So we will watch that to its conclusion tonight.
Well, I dare say, as with the last number of weeks, this one is going to go all the way. If I'm not mistaken, Lee, over the last 5, 6, 7 weeks, we seem to have gone down to almost heads up for both individual and team prizes.
Well, yeah, this week it's no different. So Colin and Stuart are part of the A team. They, at the start of the day, were 2 points ahead of the wild cards in second place. And bear in mind, these guys have scored like 580 odd points in the week, and there was 2 points splitting them. 10 points behind is JFS. Also in the mix, Celtic Storm, Purple Ackies are in with a shout. Eat My Stack guys are back playing this week. They're in with a shout as well. The Cool as a Cucumber guys still in the mix, as is the Oxford Blues. Pretty much it's anybody's. Colin was top of the MVP, but not by very many. And I'm guessing, Colin, you're probably thinking, yeah, you've got a bit of a sweat on here as to whether you're going to keep that position. Currently still there at the moment, but there's a few that can catch you, yeah?
I spend the afternoon writing down who's got what points and what I need to do and stuff like that. That's now screwed up and on the floor. So
we could have saved you that time, Colin. If you'd just spoken to us beforehand, we understand the way that this goes, and that is whoever leads has a sweat. Nothing else matters. So I'm sure you'll still be in contention late into the evening. We will see. But listen, Lee, You tell us.
Des,
We've been going
Des.
for 16 weeks.
We have.
Unbelievable. Way back, and I think it was maybe week 2, possibly week 3, with this, I can affectionately term a lovely guy on from Israel, Robbie Straczynski. Do you guys remember Robbie Straczynski?
Robbie. Name rings a bell. Yeah.
Does the name ring a bell? So
Yeah.
Robbie's a lovely guy from Israel, and Robbie's on the line, right? We're not going to speak to him yet. We're going to speak to him in just a moment. But he has created this wonderful project for a new broadcast poker show, which I think could be pretty exciting. And you and I have had a little bit to do with this, which is similarly sort of exciting. But Robbie's got this show that we're pretty darn proud of. I think this could be very cool. So we've got a little teaser. Why don't we give the guys what effectively is a world exclusive on a new poker show that's about to launch next week? So
Sounds like a plan.
Let me roll this.
Who's going to be the first to kind of take that risk to test the waters, so to speak? And
they don't seem to be on top of these kind of issues nearly as much.
A backing group that had all their players using a real-time solver. There's a video of someone using it a month ago.
Positioning themselves as a safe place and a friendly place for recreational players.
My name is Robbie Straczynski. Welcome to the first ever episode of The Orbit.
poker player showed me his, we'll just call it a cheating operation.
I don't find them to have a strong security team. I don't find them to be at the cutting edge on these kind of things.
We've been around for a long time, everyone knows us. It's important that we give that same feeling, homey feeling, when you play online and when you transfer from live to online.
GG Poker really became a big player in the online space really fast, and we're doing great up until this hiccup the other day with the World Series of Poker.
And they're telling me the games are super soft.
He was 6 of the players at that 8-handed table. I watched him do it.
Wow, that is super cool. Welcome back to the APAT show, Robbie Straczynski.
Hey
Shivers down my
guys.
spine, Robbie. Shivers down my spine.
Oh, indeed. What a cool thing to see that trailer. Good
That
stuff.
looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool, Robbie.
And that
So
Robbie
tell
guy
us-
is so handsome too.
Tell us about this new show.
Well, I had help from a couple wonderful fellows. You may have heard of it, Riffled Productions. You've heard of that? It's a joint venture. Certainly something that I had an initial concept for a number of years ago, but could not have happened with all the pieces without all of the pieces in place. The idea is to sort of have a roundtable discussion amongst some well-known people in the industry, both players as well as the industry side, the media side, and to talk about some of the most hot button issues in the poker world, and hopefully to do it every so often. This is the pilot, and yeah, it's really exciting. We got some big names. Those who saw on the trailer, we've got Jonathan Little, Ari Engel, Chad Holloway, Hermance Bloom. It was a cool thing to record, and really excited for the debut.
Oh, it's fantastic. You've got a great mix of what I would call industry sort of veterans, but you've also got some pro players there. You've got people who have gone out into their own business ventures, like Jonathan Little, for example, with his poker training business. So what are you looking to get from these guys? I mean, can you give me an example of the type of topic that you're looking to cover?
Well, I think I don't want to reveal too much. It's important never to show your entire hand. But what I think is really unique about this sort of a concept is so often, for years in poker media, we're used to seeing and hearing interviews. It's usually just one-on-one. You've got the interviewer and the interviewee. And very rarely, if ever at all, have we seen this potential for interaction among multiple guests. So someone may have one take, but then they'll hear 2, 3 other perspectives and points of view on a particular topic. I think it makes for something interesting, both from the listener and the audience perspective, as well as for the participants to be learning as the interview and discussion is taking place.
Oh, fantastic. Well, listen, Robbie, certainly the teaser, if you like, some of the stuff that those guys were saying, does whet your appetite to want to watch the episode, the first one, the pilot. When does it air?
This Thursday.
I'm guessing there'll be a bit of promotion around that, I would
Yes,
imagine.
in the UK, that would be, what is that, 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
For the UK. It's 12 p.m. Pacific for those in the Las Vegas, Los Angeles area, and 3 p.m. Eastern for everyone on the East Coast of the United States.
Fantastic. Okay, guys, I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about the Orbit with Robbie Straczynski going forward. That was a little teaser for you. Thank you, Robbie. I know it's beyond midnight in Israel. We should let you go back to bed ASAP, I guess.
Well, thank you. Some things are worth staying up for. And forget ASAP. I want to know APAT. That's what it's all about on this show. Thanks for having me on, guys. Good to speak to you guys.
Stuff. Take care, Robbie.
Cheers.
There we go, guys. That is Robbie Straczynski, and that was a teaser for the pilot episode of The Orbit with Robbie Straczynski. That is coming your way on Thursday. More about that to follow. So there we go. Are Colin and Stuart still there?
I'm still here.
Still here.
You guys didn't see that little teaser because of, unless you watched it on the stream with the 30-second delay. But does that sort of stuff interest you? Sort of hearing industry and pros talking about the issues in the game?
I think it's something I'll have a listen to. I tend not to get too carried away to listening into the ins and outs. I'm very much a recreational player, but then I do like to listen to some things that just get me involved.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the it's part of the narrative of poker over lockdown. I think we've heard a lot about recreational players coming back, and a lot of the poker rooms are now talking about having a very recreational player focused strategy, if you like. And I think it wouldn't be a bad thing for recreational players to have some sort of voice in those types of discussions, because and Leigh, you've been a great exponent of saying this, that you hear a lot of people talking about recreational players, but not enough of them are recreational players.
No, I've said this for a while now. It seems to be that every online provider or pro player seems to think they know what's best for recreational amateur players, and quite often I don't think they necessarily are in touch with what the guys choose to do and what they choose to play, and why, more importantly, why they choose to play what they do, what the restrictions are around when they can play. And I think it would be, you get the right provider that actually is a little bit more in touch with that player base, and I think they'll be the ones that will win poker in the long term.
No, absolutely agree. So guys, let's get back to yourselves, okay? So we've seen your prowess on the virtual beige in particular over the last several weeks. I think you've both had one cash each at an APAT event. Can you tell us when that was, and how you've come to be involved with APAT?
Okay, shall I go first?
Yeah.
Okay, because mine's probably the furthest away. So I think it was 2010 I got my first cash.
Season 4, Leigh.
And it was at Luton. I've had
it wasn't just a cash, was it?
I got a medal as well.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, no, Luton's a favourite place for me. I played my very first APAT at Luton the previous year, I think it was. And I didn't do too bad. I think it paid down to 20th. I finished 24th. I always remember the hand. Here we go. Here comes a bad beat. I had pocket jacks, and I raised it up. I think I got called by the big blind with Jack 5 of clubs. The one remaining Jack came down on a flop with 2 clubs, and well, you all know what's coming. And it wasn't my full house, so I ended up, my trip jacks lost to flush. That isn't what took me out, but it crippled me quite a bit.
But that was one heck of a final table, Colin, because that's the one that Todd Wood won.
No, that was my first one. I just missed out on the cash, and the following year I went.
The following year, yeah. So the one where you finished third, that was a heck of a final table. Just looking at it now, it's so Todd Wood, Ian Burnett finished second in that, Des.
Yeah, I think
Where was this?
Yeah. This is Luton back in 2010. James Edwards was on that final table. Joe Legg was on that final table.
No, not possible.
Yeah.
No, Joe was the sponsor. 2010, he was the sponsor. He couldn't have been at a final table, surely.
Definitely was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were. There was 3 of us left, and we all had roughly about 500,000 chips. There was nothing in it. I think Todd had a slight edge, and he ended up getting a hand. I went in against Todd. I think I had a big pair. I had pocket kings. I just made a small raise because I wanted him to follow. I think we were blind on blind as well, and unfortunately he flopped 2 pair. So the chips all went in, and I went out. So, but as I say, I was happy. It was my second ever APAT event, and I brought some silverware home. So
fantastic. And tell me, Colin, what's happened over the last 10 years then?
Kids.
Oh, Colin, no.
Yes, it happens.
No, it happens to us all, I'm afraid.
No, to be honest, I've always been into with our team. We've got a little chat box on Messenger, and we've been chatting in there all day long.
Oh, I'm sure.
And we're saying about. I said I don't know why they're getting me on this thing, because I don't do football, I don't do rugby, I don't do cricket. I don't know a lot about poker, and the only sports I do are the boring ones, like snooker and pool.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm happy to talk about snooker all night if you want, Colin. I have to say, I did notice from your profile you are well, certainly I saw the pool side, and I don't know if you noticed, Leigh, but in that very natty picture, let me see if I can put this up again. And the guys look very cozy there. I have to say that picture wasn't taken of them both together.
I didn't know they were that friendly.
Yeah,
honestly.
no, I had to put them together, and space requirements made me think, yeah, these guys are going to be good friends by the end of the night, so let's do this. But I have to say that looks like a snooker type pick. Colin, was that preparing for an event or something?
Sorry, I can't see it. So.
Oh, you can't see it yet?
No, I haven't got the thing on.
Well, so, you look like a Ray Reardon type character. You've got your hair swept back. You're wearing a waistcoat. You've got a dicky bow on. It's very much a snooker style photo, I'd say. Nice white shirt on.
Is it a black and white photo?
Well, it is. It is a black and white photo.
And I've got something in my mouth.
Yeah, that could be. That could be.
Yeah.
Remember, I've doctored this photo slightly.
Okay.
This is when Colin says that. This is when Colin says that's not actually me. Yeah.
Hey, it wouldn't be the first time.
That's my twin brother. That. Well, it looks very snookerish, but believe it or not, that was Work's Christmas party.
Work's Christmas party. Wow.
But, and that's one of those blow up balloons that you let fly around the room that I had in my mouth.
Oh right, it doesn't look like a blow-up balloon at the moment, I have to say, but we'll take your word for it. Where do you work? Like Coots of London? I mean, that's Rolls Royce. I mean, that's a pretty impressive looking sort of works do you've got going there.
Yeah, the bloke who took the picture is a very good photographer, so he made me look a lot better than I did.
It's fantastic.
I don't work there anymore. That was. It was in retail, and I've sort of left that, and I'm now into engineering.
Retail doesn't exist anymore, does it? That's gone, isn't it? Yeah, isn't that pretty much lockdown? Lockdown killed retail, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I've done 20 odd years of retail, and working Saturdays, bank holidays, all the rest of it. Getting no time to myself. So I've now I've got 2 children. I've got a third on the way in a few months. So I managed to find a job where I get every weekend off, and bank holidays and Christmas and all the rest of it. And I'm enjoying it.
Well, that sounds like a fantastic move. I went from having 15 years in retail to gambling, the gambling industry, where it feels like you're off every day because it's just fun. Who couldn't like the gambling industry? And Stuart, I hope you don't think you're going to escape sort of all of this investigation on your side. You look very friendly with Colin there. Are you sure you guys haven't met before?
I've not seen the picture, so I'm not sure.
Oh my God, you guys haven't seen the picture. Well, it'll be posted on the internet. Don't you worry, on a lot of sites. You're wearing a pair of sunglasses. And I have to say, when I got this picture, I think you probably had your daughter in your arms. I'm sort of...
Oh, it's that one, is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
well, now you're turned the other way, facing, you're quite close to Colin, I have to say. It's almost like you're dancing. It's quite romantic, because Colin looks very nice in the picture. But you're wearing these dark glasses, you are now in black and white, and your daughter has mysteriously disappeared. So
Stuart, you won't even recognise yourself, basically, is what he's saying. He's photoshopped it that well. You really won't.
So
Cheers,
tell me, Stuart, your first APAT experience, and not necessarily just your first, but your cash, and just tell us a little bit about your APAT live experiences.
I mean, I started APAT, you know, it goes back probably maybe the first season. I can't remember exactly, but we were in the sort of team championship. I think I did those a couple of times.
Brilliant.
And I think 2010 was my I cashed in the world main event Dust Till Dawn.
Dust Till Dawn.
Season 4, yeah, Dust Till Dawn. That was the year that Ben Young won at Dust Till Dawn. So the same year that actually Colin had his cash. So season 4, yeah.
There would have been over 400 runners in that event, if I'm not mistaken, Lee.
Yeah, it was a big one. Yeah,
yes,
big one.
Huge.
Wow. So do you play a bit at Dust Till Dawn then, Stuart? Is that relatively local to you, or
not really. I mean, Dust Till Dawn's Nottingham, I'm Bristol, so it's a couple of hours. Yeah. So it's still a weekend away if we go up to a live event in Dust Till Dawn. So
being a Bristol man, do you know our very own Matt Dale?
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. There's the link. So you must have maybe played for the Gambling Network Forum, or Bristol and Southwest Poker Meetup.
Yeah.
The orange shirts.
Yes, that's right.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Lee, that was season 2. They finished.
Yes.
You guys won it. Did you not win it?
No, I wasn't in that. I wasn't in that one.
Okay.
I think I was in the following one.
That was unlucky.
Yeah.
Were you in any way responsible for that, Stuart? Did you leak a load of points on them? No, he won't accept that. So, and tell me, have you played APAT on and off over the last 10 years, or are you playing more online, or?
So I think very similar to Colin, really. 2010, I played a few more, sort of 2011, 12, and then probably for another couple of years, and then kids came along, and the weekends away, they kind of evaporated. So it's I've got 3 now. With Colin nearly got 3 as well. So it's hard work.
It's hard work, and it's expensive, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So Stuart, you're from Bristol. Colin, did we find out where you're from? What part of the world?
No, you didn't. I'm from Norfolk.
Norfolk, okay.
Yep, stuck out of the way in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, and I can't ask you whether you're an Ipswich or a Norwich supporter because you're not into football.
No, no. And to make it even more disappointing for you, I was actually born in Liverpool. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow. That's odd. That's very strange. I've just lost my train of thought there, Colin. Crikey, where do I go to next? Well, we could talk about snooker. The World Snooker Championship qualifiers are going on in Sheffield at the moment. You're a sport of covering them all. What do you make of that?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't watched much of it at all.
Yeah,
I know we've got a local chap here who I've known for many years, Barry Finches.
Oh yeah, he was playing. He was playing today. Did he win?
Do you know what? I don't know. I was just thinking that.
He was leading. He was leading by like 3-1 or 4-1 at one point.
Yeah.
So are you the sort of guy that once we hit the end of the month and we get to the Crucible and stuff, will you be sort of keeping a regular eye on that through the tournament?
I do. Probably not so much now. I've sort of lost touch a little bit with snooker. Yeah. I think my eyes have gone. I can't see that far, so I've sort of lost a little bit of sight. That's why I started playing pool, because the table's smaller and I don't have to look so far. But I always like to have a.
It's no joke, is it? Because when you do get to a certain age, it's bloody hard to stretch your legs up on tables, and your arms don't stretch out in the same way, and you can't see shit. I mean, when did that happen?
Yes, I don't know whether many people know, there was, I think it was one of the old commentators used to do the commentating. I think it was about Fred Davis.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, because he played till quite an old age, and because he was older, he was struggling to get over the table, and so he sort of tried getting his leg up on the table, and in the end he couldn't do it, so he swapped hands and played with the other hands. And of course the commentator goes, Fred Davis, at how old he was, now unable to get his leg over, so he uses his other hand.
Yeah. Oh dear. Can we use that, Lee? Can we use it? Are we going to have to cut that out? No, I think that's probably quite safe with what we do.
There's been far worse in the past.
There has been far
weeks,
worse, and to be honest, there might be far worse before the night is out. So
we've got some bad news for you, Colin. Barry lost.
Oh, did he? Oh dear.
Oh no. So fill us in, guys. Is Barry a teammate? What? Who?
No.
Oh, Barry Pinches.
No. Yes.
Oh, you're kidding? Yeah. Wow.
6-4.
I mean, shall I continue with the bad news whilst we're there? Because this has gone a bit bonkers in squads tonight. Because the top 3 teams have all bust.
Oh,
they're all out already. We've still got 27 players remaining. So the wild cards who were in second place are all out with 588.73 points. So Colin and Stuart's team, the A team, they're all bust with 588.51. So you're in second place by 0.22 of a point.
Wow.
Which is about as close as I think we've ever had. JFS are all done as well. They're 10 points behind. So it's now a case of whether any of the other teams that we're chasing can go deep and actually try and overtake you guys. But at the moment, it's I don't think I've ever seen a situation like this with, say, 27 players left in the tournament and the top 3 teams are all gone.
So, and what does the team win for second place?
There's no second place prizes this week.
I know.
Yes.
Oh no.
Unfortunately.
Oh dear.
I'm just so right. So that's all the bad news out the way. So now we can get on and just enjoy the show. Yeah. It's,
no. Well, listen. As Colin sort of recovers a little bit from the Barry Pinches squads blow, right, from both of those, let me throw a few questions at Stuart. Okay, so Barry, so Stuart first, then Colin. I'm going to throw similar type questions at you, so you can be prepping. Stu, how did you get into poker? What was your first sort of introduction to the game?
I started playing live, I'd say probably about 23 years ago. Sort of my local Grosvenor. It's just the only place that sort of did a game. I think that's when I met Matt Dale.
Yeah, led you astray right from the start.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, led us astray. And then I started playing online probably not long after when sort of Blue Square, that was around, if you can remember that, guys.
Yeah, Blue Square would have been what, 2004, 2005 maybe, in that sort of area, a little bit earlier possibly.
A bit earlier than that,
yeah.
But so and then I probably played both online and live, sort of locally, because there's a fairly good scene in Bristol. And it's got sort of bigger over the years, I suppose. Gala came in, and they were the sort of bigger game then, and that's kind of stayed the same since, which is now Rainbow in Bristol.
Yeah, we've always enjoyed going to sort of that neck of the woods, I have to say, and I know a lot of poker players who've come out of it and supported us over the years. I have to say, in the early years, I don't even know if you know this, Lee, but we had a lot of grief from Bristol players. I don't know whether it was because they thought we were in competition with GNF, Matt's forum back then, but we had a lot of grief in season 1 and season 2. Did you you must know, Stuart, you must know Ben Walton, right? Walty Pies.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, what a guy, right? What a guy. What he's done for his daughter has been absolutely incredible. But I've seen such a change in him. You go back 15 years, he was quite a Jack the Lad sort of tearaway sort of fella. And now, pillar. I mean, what he's done is just amazing. I don't know if you heard him on the show. He was on with us maybe 2 or 3 weeks back.
I missed that. I missed that show, but obviously, with what he has sort of done for his daughter and raised, the money to sort of get the medical, all the medical stuff that was needed for her.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I think in the States is just, I mean, it's what you'd hope that you'd do as a dad if it ever came to you as well. So
absolutely. But there's one thing to raise funds and put a lot of effort into it, and it's another thing to do multiple 100-kilometer or 100-mile walks. I mean, he was destroying his feet. An incredible physical feat, I have to say. And tell me, Stuart, when you think back to the early 2000s and Matt Dale, do you see him as long-haired, sort of on the 2002 version of a one wheel? I mean, is that how you remember him? With a jet ski or something, like being pulled behind, or?
Well, I mean, obviously the jet ski things came a whole lot later, didn't it? But,
it did. But I like to think Matt was the first into something a little weird, right? Whatever it was back then, he was probably the first into it, because I remember him way back then before we even started APAT.
That's right.
Being into the poker meetups, and he'd all sorts of different little meetups going on. There was poker, but there was other stuff. There was activities and climbing. So he was always into that sort of healthy outdoor sort of, I'm going to do something a bit different, but I want a bunch of people around me, which was fantastic.
Right,
Love Matt very, very much, I have to say. And of course, a big part of the APAT story over the last, 6 or 7, 8 years. I mean, it seems it's just hard to tell because time's moving so quickly.
So Des, I just need to calm Carey down a bit, because I forget myself what we've agreed and what we haven't agreed. So it's actually top player for the MVP this week gets added value. So just the top player, but actually the top 2 teams will get paid out some added value as well. So at the moment the guys are in second place, but we'll have to see what happens. But because Carey was just asking in the chat what was going on. I've forgotten exactly what I changed it to. So it was top 2 teams and the top person in the MVP. So
excellent.
That's okay. We'll be third anyway. So
it's inevitable, guys. Nobody who comes onto the APAT show ever walks away with money. Okay, it just doesn't happen. So we take it from you during the show. That's inevitably what happens. And how about you, Colin? Then how did you, going from Liverpool over to Norfolk, and that's quite a trek. How did you get into poker?
Well, I think like most people of my age, you'd get home. I think it was on a Friday night or something. You get home from the pub and you'd stick the telly on Channel 4.
Here we go.
And late night poker.
So ting ting. Yes, there we go. Yeah.
It's watching this late night poker, watching what they do, trying to pick up how it works. You're getting down the snooker club the following week and saying, did anybody see that on the telly? And they're all like, yeah. So they all sort of seen it. And so, of course, 5 or 6 of us then sat around a table and got a pack of cards and started to play it all completely wrong. You burn 3 cards before you lay the flop, don't you? That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Then we suddenly realised the second week that that's not how you do it. So we picked the opposite. We went and we sort of started to get 10, 12 people playing in that. Unfortunately, that snooker club, then the snooker club we used to play at, that closed. We managed to find a new venue in the football club, which was just a little bit further down the road. And we built up, we were getting on a Tuesday night for a £5 rebuy, we were getting 35 to 40 people turn up.
Yeah. You know, I'm not surprised that you're seeing those sort of numbers in the pubs. I am a little surprised that more players aren't coming onto the show and saying that they started in the pubs, because, of course, the pubs have been brilliant for starting people, giving them a little taste of poker, and many players still playing very much in the pubs. So I'm not surprised by your starting point there, and I love the late night poker thing. I think one of the first tournaments that I saw was it was something crazy coming out of Atlantic City. It was like at the Taj Mahal Casino or something ridiculous, and it was early 2000s, and I remember seeing a player push in about 400,000 on a hand and thinking, Christ, he sat there with like $400,000 and he's just pushed it all in on a hand of poker. I didn't realize it was a tournament. Detail, right? You got to start somewhere. So that was my early uninformed experience. And tell me, Colin, live or online, what would you say was your favorite place to play?
Well, I think my favorite has always been live. Just like the interaction, and I can talk quite a bit, so it's all that, having the face to face. I think the problems I had with online as well was that I wasn't particularly great. I think and then you've got people who make notes and have the hoods and all the rest of it, and I never done that. I switched it on, I put it on, and I watched somebody, and if they kept pushing on hands, then that's how they were playing that night, so that's how I took them. I still don't make any notes. Obviously, hoods are not there, but I looked at it, the way I play, I can play different on one night to the next. I think I've got some traits that tend to creep up in every single time, but as I say, I play different on one night to the next, and I think other people do as well. So the notes, I don't think, are a huge benefit, not to me.
Well, it's interesting because we've obviously, it might not have seemed like it, but we've been watching you play quite a lot over the last few weeks, and I've picked you as my horse, if you like, on a number of final tables, and you've always done extremely well for me.
Yeah, I've got better, haven't I?
You certainly have. So what are you putting that down to? Because I don't think the APAT games are the easiest games in town.
No, I think like with sports, like with playing snooker and pool, I think poker's got the same thing. It's practice is a big thing.
Yeah.
I think with poker, you practice by you playing the tournaments, and because you're playing it more often, things become natural. And I think it's that sort of feel of what I should be doing at certain points, because probably over the last I don't know, I think I started from about week 4. Something like that. So as I say, I've been playing this for 12 weeks, and things are starting to naturally happen. I've played a lot of hands. I've played more hands over the last 12 weeks than I probably have for the last 12 years.
Wow. But I mean that's the way it's gone. It seems to have just sort of blown up again. A lot of people have come back to the game over the last few weeks. Understandable, given what's been happening around us. Colin, are you solely a tournaments player, or do you dip your toe into the cash game at all?
No, I'm rubbish at cash.
Yeah.
I just it's I think, as I say, my best event is the deep stack. The one that I was going to say really
that's tonight's event. Carry on.
Yeah, but I've never been on the show before, so what I wanted to do was dedicate myself to you guys.
Everybody says that. Lee, doesn't everybody say that? Tell Colin, everybody says that.
They do. But to be fair, to you both, so you've picked up what one gold, Stuart? Yeah, that'd be
1 gold and a silver.
One gold and a silver in the run in the summer run, and Colin, you've had a gold, haven't you? Yeah.
I've got a gold and a silver as well.
Wow.
Yeah, gold and silver. Yeah, was it silver in the PLO?
I think I was silver in the PLO. Yeah,
and I think Stuart's the other way round. I think, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So yeah. Wow. So it's pretty good going. Yeah.
That's excellent.
I won the Sunday roller as well.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just threw that in at the end there nonchalantly.
Yeah. Yes, Stuart, I won that one as well. How'd you get on there? Anyway.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But that was really good. That was on my birthday, so yes.
It was, wasn't it? Yes, just shy of $1,000, wasn't it, on your birthday? Yes. That was the weekend though. You didn't. Was that the weekend where you didn't? You also. It wasn't just the
that
roller
weekend.
you had won. You also had a decent run in something else that night. If I remember
the
right.
day before
we were,
or something.
Yeah, the day before. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had. I went on a heater for about 3 weeks.
Oh, he's had an insane amount of good lever, Lee. We'll have to address that, I'm afraid. And we've started tonight. So how about you then, Stuart? Are you a live or an online player? Does circumstance mean you're more online today than live?
Definitely nowadays it's more online, simply because it's just easier to play a game when I want to play it. If you play live, you have to kind of give up potentially sort of whole evening or weekend. So it's quite a lot of time.
It's a lot tougher.
Yeah.
And tell me, do you play? When you play online, do you play to win? And I'm saying that respectfully, or do you play, because it's a couple of hours of entertainment and, a bit of community and that sort of stuff? I mean, how important is cash in or winning a medal or making a final table to you, important or not?
I think it's equally important really for me. I obviously don't play just to sort of just have some fun. It is all about sort of doing really well, and if I can, win. Otherwise I wouldn't do it, I don't think. There wouldn't be any point in turning up, I think.
It is pretty important to have that competitive streak, isn't it? So you can play it graciously and, with good, spirit and all of that stuff. But if you're not competitive, it's a difficult game to be good at, to have that killer instinct for. And how about you then, Stuart, with regards to tournaments and cash? Do you play cash at all?
I've played a little bit of live cash. I'm not so. I don't really play sort of online cash. If I'm playing a tournament, it was more likely to be online. But I think what's happened in the past is that you sort of turn up to a tournament, a live tournament, and then if you go out relatively early, you either go home or potentially go and sit on a cash table. So I think I've done a little bit of that in the past, but not huge amounts. I'm not a huge cash player at all, really.
Or go to the fruit machines. That's one that I used to do.
Don't go there. Don't go there. That's, At least if you're sat at the poker table, even if you're losing a little bit of money here and there, you can put it down to it being a bit of a learning experience, right? You can at least, keep an eye on what's happening at the table. Stuart, how would you describe your play? What type of player are you?
I suppose if you want to pigeonhole it, it's a lag, loose aggressive. I'm pretty.
You're the worst type. The worst type, Lee. We've got a lag on.
Oh dear! I don't think anyone's ever admitted to that.
Nobody's ever admitted to that.
This could be a first.
No, you can't carry on. We're listening.
I do play. I'm quite situational. I am very aggressive, and I like to play lots of hands, so I don't get bored really.
There you go. That's the Bristol. That's the Bristol coming out there, Lee. That's what that is. How about you, Colin?
That's how Matt will have taught him well. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like a lag on a one wheel.
A drunken lag. The only way to play poker.
I bet Colin's a tag. Come on, Colin. What are you then?
Yes, I'm the complete opposite. I like to pick up some little pots here and there. I don't like to get too risky with hands, although sometimes you have to. But I think that's the thing. I think for my game, it's where two wrongs make a right. I probably lay down too many hands that I'm winning, but then every now and then I can actually lay down a hand that gets me out of jail a little bit. So I have no system and no plan. I just play how I feel on the day.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. There's a lot of instinct out there. So do either of you guys rely on the mat side of the game? Oh, here are the pot odds. I must call because I have the odds to do so. Or is that not necessarily part of your game? Open to both of you?
I think occasionally for me it does form a small part of the game, but I'm just definitely more I go on feel. whether I feel that I'm in front or, it is quite situational for me, I think.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That can be confidence-based as well. Again, if you're feeling on top of the world and your game, sometimes it just feels like you have more time and, a greater ability to do that sort of stuff. How about you, Colin?
Yeah, I think we're probably the same there. It's all by how I feel. Sometimes I just feel like it's time to make a bet, to, depending on what everybody else is doing. You sort of tend to get a feel. I probably, as I say, with playing the same people again and again for the last 12 weeks, you do tend to instinctively know the sort of way they'll play. And if you feel that you can make a little move on it, then it's worth a go. I probably just bet a little bit less than Stu would.
Yeah, no, that's a fair way to differentiate between a tag and a lag. And tell me, having had that experience of, playing pretty consistently over the last 10, 11, 12 weeks, Colin, what players have you played against that you admire their game, or you respect it, or you maybe are a little tempted to stay out of their way?
Yeah, there's a few that seem to not worry about me making raises and stuff, and you tend to get used to who they are. And I say, being that tight player, I'll keep out of their way, and because some players, that the pots are going to get big.
Yeah.
So as I say, that's where I say about sometimes I'll just lay a hand down.
Understood.
Even though...
Now, don't think I didn't notice that you didn't mention any names there. Come on, give us a name or two. Who do you like?
Well, I've actually got a table up in the squads at the moment, and a player that I know his name pops up quite a lot, and is Mr. Houston.
Oh, Dan, yeah, Dan's a good player.
He often seems to cause me a bit of trouble in a nice way.
Oh, listen, he'll cause you trouble on the table, off the table, in the car park, everywhere. Just be careful of him. No, but a very, very experienced and capable player, Dan, I would say.
And probably Rob Swindles as well is another toughie to play against.
Rob's a good player. What he lacks in football acumen, he more than makes up for in poker acumen. How about you, Stuart? I mean, what sort of players do you enjoy playing against?
Enjoy? I'm not actually sure, really. Dan's definitely a player I don't want to play against too often. I know Dan well, and I know his game is, on both Hold'em and PLO, he's a pretty good player. There's a few other players. I think, obviously, you mentioned Rob. I know Rob. Rob's a good player. Acer. Ace is a pretty consistent player. I think the sort of standard in certainly in the online and general APAT is relatively high. So you could sort of sit there and name any number of players that you wouldn't want to come up against. Yeah. So you're always going to have a table where there's going to be one or two of those on your table every time.
No, that's fair enough. And tell me, Stuart, as a results-orientated guy, which you've professed to be, why do you choose to play these games, then on a Sunday night, as opposed to maybe some games that might be a little bit softer?
That's a good question, actually. I think it's more of I suppose the APAT community really has kept us. I kind of had a bit of a break from poker probably over the past 12 months or so. And when lockdown sort of kicked off and APAT sort of pretty much went online, I just wanted to get involved with it from week one. So it's not that I can find an easier game to play. It was more especially over the last sort of and Colin can sort of probably tell me more on it, but since we've sort of got in the teams, with Colin and a few others, it's just been more of camaraderie thing as well.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, $5.50 to play, it's not going to break the bank if it doesn't sort of go well that night. So I'm not sort of sat there thinking, oh, you know, I'm not going to play because it's $35 or whatever. It's $5, you know, £3, £4 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a number of the players are having a pretty similar experience to what myself and Leigh are in doing the show. And obviously we were doing the show 4 nights a week for the longest time. And it was almost a case of, you know, it's not about going to find a lonely poker tournament to play in during the lockdown period. It's about, you know, mixing it up with some people that you know, and you know, that's sort of a good thing, right? So no, that's healthy. That's good to hear. And I know both of you guys from time to time listen to the show. We know that. What do you feel if you've got a Dan Elston or whoever else it might be out here, talking about your final table play, and they say something, you know, that you might not necessarily agree with? Is that, you know, do you see that as a positive or a negative? Does it impact you when you're playing? You know, how do you view the content of this show in relation to talking about the actual tables that are up? Colin, if you like, to help you both.
Yeah, if you mean if I'm on a table and somebody's commenting,
and somebody's talking about your play.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. I've been getting on final tables and people have been saying how well I've played, and so I'm happy. I'm quite surprised.
Oh, that's good.
As I say, and I think, you know, some of the guys that you've had on there, very informative. You know, they're very good players, and I think when they do sort of turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I've played him I was on a table with him the other day, and you come across and he's played really well," it gives you a boost, and that's probably what has helped me over the last few weeks getting my results.
So Colin, I was just going to ask you, Colin, how do you rate Tony Trippier's game?
I've been on quite a few tables with Tony, and he's a tough player as well.
Well, just so you know, Tony's the only player that can knock you off the top of the MVP for the week.
I've never really liked the bloke personally, but...
and he needs to win the tournament to do it. That's where we're at.
Wow.
That is where we are at in this tournament. 17 players remaining, and the only person that can beat Colin in the MVP for the week is Mr. Tony Trippier, who is currently 5th out of the remaining 17 players.
Oh, do you know what? I'm getting happy now because I thought I'd lost that as well.
I think you're pretty safe, mate. I have to say.
To be fair, you didn't do very well, but you know what? Neither did anybody else by the looks of it. I don't quite know. I don't know who's going to win this tournament. Yeah, where they're getting their points from, but basically,
right.
They've had a shocker.
Sunday.
Right, I'm getting Tony's table up then.
Yeah, well, this is it. We'll put Tony's table up. We'll abuse him to high heaven. Tell him that he's doing everything wrong. Put him under pressure and watch him win, because that's what happens here. Okay, Leigh, I'm going to put you on the spot now. Can you remember Tony's song?
Tony's song. Oh, how
Come
did
on,
that
Leigh.
go? Tony.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Tony. That was one of the greatest songs I think we've played over the weeks. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And we didn't get copyrighted for that one. That's amazing.
Funnily enough, no, Leigh, we didn't get copyrighted for that one. They said, we've got 1,500 copies left. If you'd like them, just tell us where, and we'll ship them to you.
Hate to break. Tony's moved up to 4th now in chips.
Oh, I tell you what, he's probably half, maybe 3/4 of a bottle of gin in. Do you think?
Oh, you know it's only going to go one way, isn't it? So
it's fantastic.
I've always liked this Simon Gill's chap. I thought he's a very, very good chap. And, he's got more chips. So come on, Simon.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the pesky Russians who are currently chip leader, all of a sudden they're great for the game. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to get table Tony and I'm going to put it up. Let's have a look. Where are we? Tony, there we go. So I'll tell you what. Why don't we look at the poker for a little bit? We have no.
So we're quite close to we're one off the money now. I know you said earlier on, Stuart, that it's only a $550 tournament, but do you get to the point where you're getting close to the money and it's like, well, it's another cash, isn't it? And it's it's them wanting to make the money. Does the bubble play still affect a $5.50 tournament?
I think of course you want a cash. I mean that's all part of wanting to play poker, I think. But I don't think it's difficult to say depending on where you are actually in the tournament. If you're actually on that bubble, then it definitely would influence your play. It does influence mine because obviously, if I'm 17th of 17 and only 16 pay, then I'm obviously wanting to make sure that someone busts before me. It's as simple as that, really. If I'm mid-pack, I don't tend to sort of look at it, and if I lose because I've played badly, then so be it. But I think it just depends on where you are in the tournament for me as to what if I'm chip leader, I'll definitely abuse it.
No, that's fair enough. That is
Talking-
fair enough.
listen,
We're on a
talking of-
break at the moment. Yeah.
Listen, Lee, just talking about abuse, okay? We've got Tony in the chat box. We got Tony in the jack box, and what's he saying? He's saying, well, the first thing he says, he slurs it a bit. He says, I'm drunk. He is safe. All right, so that's the good news, Cole. Unfortunately, the bad news is he's on wine. He's not on gin, so we haven't seen him pilot a final table on wine. We know he's not there yet, but it's inevitable. He'll be there. Carrie is saying, I was going to tell him not to be mean to you, Tony. Unfortunately, that came in way too late, Carrie. Way too late. We've already started, and there is no stopping this train now. We're choo-chooing all the way through. Carrie says, for me, it's all about the team spirit. Yeah, okay. We like that. That is absolutely about that. But Tony's different. We love Tony here, don't we, Lee?
Oh, absolutely. He's an absolute APAT legend.
I don't know if you've seen Toy Story, Lee. Have you seen Toy Story, the movie? I'm going to specifically,
the original one? Yeah,
it might be Toy Story 3, right?
Where is this going?
There's like a pink teddy bear, and he's really mean and evil and bad, but he's got a heart of gold. Was it? Yeah. It couldn't have been Lesbo. Something like that. It was something like that.
What was the name of the teddy bear?
The teddy bear. It couldn't have been. No.
There's no way would it have been called.
I don't think so. But at some point in the movie, this pink teddy bear was tied to the front of an articulated lorry. Okay, that's the sort of abuse that he had to go through, and it would be like 90 miles an hour down the US equivalent of, I don't know, the M25 or something. You can imagine the flies and grime and dirt. Well, that's Tony to this show. Right, we love him. We abuse him. Yes, we do, but we love him. Okay, and
I was going to say, I'd just like to say, I know I may have sort of trying to get him to fall out and not get anywhere in this competition, but no, he seems a really nice guy, and I can't think of anybody better to finish second in tonight's squad game.
I like the way you've slipped a bit of pressure onto him there. That's good. That's good. That's reverse psychology. I saw what you did there. No, this could be really cool. I mean, to have to win to take that. I mean, what odds, Lee? What odds would you give Tony to win this? So we've got 17 left. He's got to win. What odds?
17 to 1, isn't it?
No, I think he's longer than 17 to 1.
Longer than 17 to 1.
He's longer than 17 to 1. I mean, if I'm gonna say, look, Lee, stick a tenner on him, you're gonna want more than 17 to 1, right?
I'll tell you here where lies the problem. So I'm looking at who's left in this tournament.
Yeah, you've got some good players in there.
Now I've already mentioned that the first where are we now? The first 5 teams are already locked up. All done and dusted. So the wild cards, the A team, JFS, Eat My Stack, Celtic Storm, they're all done, right? Purple Ackies have still got Dan Austin in. And a win for Dan tonight will put them, they'll end up topping the team for the week. So you got to keep an eye on Dan. So he's going for a seriously deep finish. Cool as a cucumber team have still got 3 players in, and they're only 130 points off the leaders. So that's Phil Coles, Paul Taylor, and Wayne Parker are all still in. I think they could potentially win the team event this week, with the 3 of them still in with 17 players to go. So there's a stack of players in here that are all, needing to go run deep to try and do anything. So it's a tough ask for Tony. It really is.
It's a tough ask. Listen, Lee, Tom Banks says Lotso. It was Lotso, it wasn't Lesbo. I don't know where I got that from.
You were very close.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, Tom Banks,
I was pretty close.
He knows his stuff, doesn't he?
He does know stuff. I think we ought to get Tom on as an adjudicator on the show. Like they've got an adjudicator on Countdown, haven't they?
Well, Tom is in our team as well. And we did have a little chat. He was most disgusted that I was on the show here when he knows so many sports professionals, and I don't even like football.
That's fair enough.
We had Tom. Tom came on. Tom's played Millionaire, Turbo Millionaire, a number of weeks back. I think actually it was his first time he'd been on the show, and actually he got randomly picked to come on Turbo. So, but we'll definitely get Tom on the show. Des, I forgot to say to you.
Yeah.
I've got another $109 token to give away.
No way.
Yeah, don't know how, but wow. But we need to give it away. So we need to come up with something.
Wow. Okay. Let's have a guys, have a think about that. Right. We've got $109 to give away. We gave away one last week. Have a think. Help us out here. Yeah.
To the person who comes second.
Oh, I like that. That's creative there. We were talking about Tony's odds, right? So I'd have said 28 to 1, right? He's in the chat box and he's saying evens. I don't think so. 28 to 1, I'd have said if I was putting my tenner on, I'd want 28 to 1.
Is that evens? Is that evens that he actually stays awake till the end of the tournament?
There's reason, there's logic to what he said, and I hadn't thought about it, but I think I'd want 28 to 1 to stick my tenner on. But of course, what Tony would tell you was he has direct dial to multiple gods. Right, gods of many different faiths. He's got ins to a lot of them. He can just make a call. Look, that favor, right? That one time, I need that tonight. That'd take him down to about even.
I'll tell you what, though, he's in a bit of trouble because actually,
don't say that.
They've moved tables. And I'm just, if I've got this right, is it the top 3 in chips are all on the same table now?
Oh no! Oh, well, let's get that table up.
That's pretty nasty.
Right, it can't be this table.
I'm just trying to look where his position is here now. Okay. So he's to the right of the chip leader, and he's got Dan Houston on the other end of the table. So that's probably not a bad way to be.
Got Wayne Parker there as well. You've got Steve Healy, Simon Gillies.
What's your take on this? Do you go with are you bothered about being on the table with with big stacks, or do you see that as an opportunity to win chips and you just adapt your game to play, or how, or do you then try and keep away from the big stacks? How do you play it?
For me, I think it depends what chips I've got. If I'm one of the short stacks, then I don't mind. I'm happy to shove against anybody if I've got a reasonable hand. If I'm one of the big stacks, alongside them, I'll probably, when I'm first on the table, I'll have a couple of little pops just to try and give the illusion that I'm not afraid, and see how it goes. But I tend to try and keep away from another big stack if I'm a big stack.
Yeah, and it's the same for me. I think if I'm a big stack, I probably do try and avoid the other big stacks, but happy to sort of pick on anyone if I'm a small to medium stack. I don't really mind trying to sort of have a go at the big stacks if needed.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how you bet. We've watched some people use their stacks and play quite aggressive on some of these games, and others still carry on sort of playing their cards and will sit tight, looking to ladder up through positions. I suppose does the team element have any play in what you're doing in these games? or are you always just playing for the wins?
Well, for me, I think the team we've got now is a pretty good team. I say we've got a little bit of everything in there. We've got Stuart, as I say, he's the one that he'll have a go at virtually everything. He's not afraid, and he's the one that all of a sudden you'll look and go, my God, how many chips has he got sitting at the top there? And he can. Usually, I think with Stuart, he's either out early or he runs very deep.
I was just going to say that I'm either typing his name in pretty early, thinking what's gone on there, or it's very late in the tournament. Yeah.
As I say, so we've got that. I say myself, I'll sort of seem to pick my moments quite right. I managed to get sort of fairly deep in quite a few of them. As I say, we've got Tom in there who, as we know, he's got a medal, so he's capable of winning the comps, and does very well. And as I say, we've got Kerry there who is, and I think it was in her words, she's consistent. And I think if you look at her results tonight, her for this week, she's around that 35 to 40 point mark on every single night she's played. She's a good steady point gatherer. So I think we've got a good mix on the team, and I think it takes that. If everybody plays the same in that team, you're all going to get the same sort of results. Whereas with a couple of different players doing different things, you can pick up some different spots. Yeah. If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah, it makes a really good sense. And tell me, guys, WSOP and WPT, a lot of those big tournaments have been going on, for several weeks now, and doesn't seem to be lightening off. You obviously got the World Poker Tour World Online Championship and the World Series of Poker on GG. Are you tempted to give some of those sats a bit of a shot?
I have, and done very badly. So I'm.
Oh dear.
I think I won $109 ticket, didn't I?
Yes, would have for one of the for the online. For the online one. Yeah, for the online.
And I managed to blow that in the first hand.
First hand.
There we go. Yes. Yeah.
And we've asked the two guys for advice on what to do with the 109 ticket. Oh dear.
Give it to me. Let me have another go.
Give it a Stuart, I'd suggest.
I had a message from Steve Redfern at about 1:20 this morning, because he played with his 320 ticket in the WPT yesterday. He got as far as the last level of day one.
Ouch.
Was sat with 60 bigs, and he flopped top set versus a flop straight and didn't improve. So he said massive pot would have been a massive stack for day two, but thanks to APAT and Party for the opportunity.
Yeah,
so,
fair play to him. You can't want for any
we always want to hear how people get on with their added value, even if it's bust first hand. It doesn't really matter. It's always nice to hear people have played them and how they've got on. So
I first hand was pocket pair, and I hit a set on the flop, but lost to a flush, I think it was, in the end.
Rigged. The online game is rigged.
Yes.
Des, I'm genuinely feeling like we should be giving this $109 token to one of the guests. I mean, it's.
I'm not sure, Lee. I mean, I haven't heard anything this far that convinces me either of these guys know what they're doing.
Well, hang on. Ace has just posted in the chat going, I did better. I lasted 4 hands with mine.
Oh my word, 4 hands.
What are these guys doing with these $109 tickets? Honestly, it's like confetti.
I think we should give it to Carrie. That's what I think. She'd look after it. She would give it a good run, I'm sure.
She'd get value for money out of it.
Hold on, I haven't seen a response just yet. Nothing yet. I'm refreshing. There's nothing. Sorry. That was your chance, Carrie. You didn't come back quickly enough. Well, we're going to have to figure out something. What are we going to do, Lee?
Yeah, we'll have to come. We just. I mean, last week we ended up just saying who wants it, and we randomly picked somebody.
Maybe we'll do the same again.
But basically, you can, basically you could use them for the satellite tickets, so you can use them for the WPT satellites that are running at the moment on a Monday night. I think it is. They've got, I think it's something like 10 or 15 tickets guaranteed into the $1,000 buy-in event that's happening in a couple of weeks' time. So, will be great to get a couple of people into that if we can via this. So,
Carrie says she thinks she would cash with it. So I think put Carrie's name in the draw. Okay, if we're going to do a draw, Carrie, you're in there. Igor says give it to me, so Igor's in as well. Okay, let's pop those two in there. That's two.
We'll do a draw with it and see what we
absolutely. But it's got to be a newbie, right? We can't put Ace in again. We can't put Colin again. They've had to go.
Can't put Tristan. Right? Tristan won last week as well. Okay. Yeah, Triplin had one from last week.
I haven't had to go. Can I
put my name in?
I think you certainly can. Put Stu in there as well. Hey, Lee.
I haven't had to go at winning this, so you can put my name in.
Lee, can I put my name in?
Of course you can, Des. Do you play poker, Des?
Well, no, but I mean, I could sell the ticket to, I don't know, somebody, I suppose.
I don't know. You could last more than one hand, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll stay out of it. Wayne Parker's in there. Charlie Kearns is in there, but he's saying it's really odd. He says, no, me. Oh, I think he's saying, no, me.
Oh, isn't it amazing?
Clear.
How it's the chat
coming
box
alive
was
now.
really quiet about a couple of minutes ago, wasn't it? And then,
everybody's putting a lot of ease in me. They just sound Lotso-like, they want to be cool and cuddly. And Frank Bailey's in. There's no messing there. It's just in, please. Right. You didn't mess with Frank Bailey on his bus, I'm telling you. You didn't pay your fare. You were straight off at your destination, straight off.
Frank, actually, whilst Frank, I saw some post earlier on about you winning some party poker team event or something.
I saw that Frank had a result somewhere. Didn't he have an APAT result over the last couple of days?
I don't know.
Did he have an APAT result?
Well, he was heads up. He was heads up with Brendan last night, I think it was.
Oh, there we go. Ian Aaron as well. Ask Scaresy, pop him in. Scouts Bailiff, pop him in. Oh, this is going well. We could sell tickets, Lee. That's what we could do. We could sell tickets.
Definitely. So
we could split the profits, 70% to me, 30% to you.
That seems reasonable.
That was my idea.
Yeah. We'll put both the boys in as well. Yeah, on the call so they can. There we go. So so see, Tom Banks is like Ask Jeeves. This is great. It's like Peter Monroe. Yes, he did. Peter Monroe posted it. So tell us more.
Oh, is somebody going to the loo?
No, I'm getting a drink. Honest.
Thank God for that.
It's orange juice. It looks the same colour, but there you go.
Oh dear. I don't know what colour your orange juice is, but that. Oh, I'm gonna have a look into your supplier, mate. So, are we saying Anakin, Lee, because you are the expert in Eastern European names?
Which one are we going for?
Chip Daddy at the moment.
Oh, this is a horrible one.
I think it's Anakin.
Where's Igor when we need? I need Igor on the case.
Igor will know. Igor's out there.
It won't be anything like that.
It'll be Andrew or something like that.
It'll be something completely like you're not expecting it to be. I have learnt that lesson that it's not. As obvious as you think.
Did I tell you the time I ended up in bloody Minsk airport looking at the departures board and it all looked acrylic, and I hadn't a clue, Lee. I hadn't a clue.
You take these football trips. That's what happens.
Oh, listen, mate. I didn't know whether I was coming or going. Literally.
That's the problem with it, isn't it?
That is the problem.
Just making sure I've got everybody in that's gone me.
Me.
Yeah. I think I've got every.
So
amazing
guys,
when you offer a $109 ticket. How quickly? Yeah. There we go.
Here we go. It's Andre.
Andre.
I was
legend.
close. I said Seriously. Anakin, but it's Andre. Okay. Koshivarov. Andrei
Koshivarov. Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Oh, Kerry's just got married. Oh no, married to a race ace. Okay, right. God, I was thinking, blimey, on a Sunday night.
Sunday night in Las Vegas, you can do anything, Lee. You can do anything.
Excellent stuff.
Right, if there's anybody else, guys, who wants to get into the draw for the $109 ticket, Lee's just putting names in a spreadsheet now. We're going to randomize that. Get your name in now. Just say me in the chat box. If you've already done that, we've got you. If you haven't,
Frank says he won the PLO last night, so that's all he knows about. Well, maybe that's what Peter was referring to. If not, Frank, you might have won more on Party Poker than you even realise. I don't know. I just think Frank probably wins poker tournaments in his sleep. I can just imagine. Yeah,
I do think he's a
machine.
He's a bot. He's a human bot. He certainly
Definitely.
is.
Right,
Peter
so we're
Wigglesworth, he
down
wants a
to,
second entry. Get Peter in again. He's just doubled his odds. Tom Banks says it's Andrew, I think. Paul Taylor's in. Greg Mawson is in. Tony Trips is in.
Coming in last week. Now you've done another
Tony. Tony.
Tony allowed to win?
Tony.
Is Tony allowed to win? Is he? Yeah.
Did he? Oh my! What was that?
Is that somebody's cat?
Blimey.
Yeah, that's my cat.
Thank God for that, Col. You left a bit of a gap there. We were all slightly worried because there's nobody else in the house with me here. I'm all alone tonight, right? The family are all with the grandparents, and I'm all alone. And you know what it's like when you're in a big old house and you're all alone. The last thing you want to hear is that sort of sound in the background, wondering whether it's coming out of your earphones or coming out of the sitting room.
So funny thing is, I've just let one of my cats in, and I've locked it in the kitchen so that because she purrs so loudly, and I know she'll want to come on my lap, and all you'll hear is purring and meowing like that. So we could have a purr
what's just happened to me.
That is fair enough. Gunther is in as well. Lee, Syrinx, and we had Erzi. Eddie's in as well. Let's get him in. He's either in or he's laughing at a joke. It's one of the two.
So don't forget, guys, this is for the WPT World Online Championships. So you can play one of those. Obviously, we want to know. The guys last week played 50% for Race for Jack, if I remember rightly.
Okay. This is good. Yeah,
that was the condition that JP and Stu put on for that ticket. But quite happy, I think, for this one can be a just go. But we want to know how you get on. So
No. Did we get anything for Race for Jack?
I'm not sure whether they've used them yet. It was Asa and Tristan who had the tickets last week, so they'll have let Stu know if they'd got to as to whether they had or not.
I mean, I quite like the thought of us having another shot for them if we haven't scored anything. Freebie tickets and all that. I think it'd be a nice gesture for our winner to potentially do that. So given that that's what we did last week, why don't we keep it consistent with last week?
I think we should.
Yeah. Because it's all incremental, right? It's new. It's new money.
Yeah. So that's what we will do. And we've got to more names than we had last week. So do you know what, Tez? Should we give 2 away?
2, Lee? 2?
Yeah, we'll give 2 away. Why not? Why not?
Holy God, let's do that then. So, guys, just to be clear, we're going to give 2. Oh, so Asa has used his, and he's got a sad face. So we didn't score there. That's fine. That's not a problem. Carrie is saying, "I'll put more for Mel Lofthouse if I get the ticket." She was one of her. And listen, if we've got 2, Lee, why don't we have one for Mel and one for Jack?
Yeah, perfect.
If we have 2, let's do that.
Sounds good.
Okay, so thank you, Carrie. That's a good suggestion. So guys, that stipulation is, as we did with the giveaway that we had last week, 50% of any win-ins should go to that charitable sort of organization. So we'll give 1 ticket away for Raise for Jack, 1 for Mel Lofthouse's.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do. Let's do 25% of each one. Then you've got both tickets going for both charities. That would make more sense, wouldn't it, to do it that way?
Okay.
So we'll give away 2. And we'll do it that way. Well, that just means then if there's a cash, then everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Okay. Okay, guys.
We'll go with that.
That's the
Right
thing. So you're going to do it?
Are we ready? Right then. Okay, Des, I need a number between 1 and 17, please.
Okay, number 11.
And 11 is Phil Coles.
Well in, Phil. Well in.
And Colin, give me a number between 1 and 17, which is number 11.
Okay, we'll go with number 8 for an 8-ball pool.
Yeah.
And 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's Colin.
Picked himself.
Can't pick himself.
Yes, the man has just picked himself.
Oh wow.
That's the randomizer for you. Yeah.
That's the way she blows.
Yeah, that's nothing.
So there you go.
That's how it works. Yeah.
It's Col and Phil. Col and Phil Col.
I've always said when it comes to poker, when it comes to poker, one of my greatest attributes is luck. It's just happened again.
Well, I tell you, we at least we know both of you guys know what you're doing, and in a bit of form. So trust, with a little bit of luck, one or maybe even both of you would cash and earn, a few quid for yourselves, but also a few quid for those two charities. That would be great news indeed. So do let us know how you get on, guys.
We will get those tickets into your accounts tomorrow. I'll get the request over to Party, and we'll get those added to your accounts, and then let us know how you get on.
Superb.
Thank you very much.
Top stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Is Stu still on the line? Has he left?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Sorry, Stu. We haven't got anything for you. Other than my Lotso story.
If he'd have picked 13, Stuart, it would have been you.
That was going to be my second choice.
Oh, no. What number was Carrie?
It was number 2.
I quite Carrie would have been great, but I picked Dog Leash number 7 last weekend, and my favorite player, it's boring for Liverpool as a kid, was Phil Neal, who was the right back, because that was the position I played in, and his number was 2. I was going to pick 2, but I went for number 11, Mo Salah, instead. Oh well.
Oh, Des.
It was that close, Carrie.
Phil,
you won't believe it. It was that close.
No. I was just going to say, Phil Coles has just been in the chat, and he's just said, guys, he said, I'll donate the lot.
Hey.
So he's gonna pay for play for free and see whether he can bag any cash. So
those wealthy teachers, what's he thinking?
Oh, clearly, yeah. No,
money just goes to money, doesn't it? What is going on there? No, that's very kind. Yeah, that's very decent. Phil.
No, that's really good. So. We'll find out how the guys get on, and obviously the same with any added value that we give away. I mean, we slightly changed the structure of what we're doing with the added value now from this week. So we're giving away a lot more of the $33 tickets, which will get you into the monthly championship event at the end of August. But anything that we do added value, please let us know how you get on. If you spin anything up or have a decent cash, we always like to hear it, because that's what we're all about, is giving back to the players. So, I still get questions, Des. It's amazing. I had one again this week with somebody saying, I just was wondering if you could just break down for me what you take out the prize pools, and
what do we take, Lee?
Go, well, we nothing. We don't take anything out.
You keep saying this to me, and I keep scratching my head and thinking, this can't be true. We don't take anything out of the prize pools.
We pay everything out every night, and but I can understand why the question gets asked, because there's obviously everybody's gone from live to online, and so there's lots of different organizations doing stuff on different sites at the moment where some they're used to taking money out of the prize pool to do other prizes and finals and all this kind of thing, but and I think there's often some confusion, and we don't do any of that. I never have done. So,
listen, I had last week when you mentioned this, a couple of days later, I had a look in my bank account, which I like to call the Ferrari fund, okay? And that explains why the fund is so underperforming. I have to say, we don't take anything out of the prize, but actually I always thought the prize pool was players' money anyway, so why would we take anything out of the
well, exactly, that's the point, is it's there. All we ever do is add back and add more to it, whether it be seats to whatever, or or trips to whatever
Listen,
we can do. That's what
Carrie has asked
about.
a very important question. She says, "How do you get on the show?" Well, Carrie, mostly we beg you. Okay, that's how you get on the show. We call you up and say, "Listen, is there any chance you could save our bacon tonight and come on the show?"
And to be fair, for the past couple of weeks, that's normally been on a Sunday afternoon.
So we beg you, Carrie.
Quite
so if
busy
you'd like
the past
to,
few weeks, so.
if you'd like to come on, we'll send you the contract, and you can go through that with your lawyer. And as long as you're happy to sign over your image rights, we're fine.
Kerry, if you want to come on the show, and you can bring that teammate of yours, Tom Banks, on the show as well, we'll happily get you both on the show. Not a problem at all. Yeah, we can just play like Turbo Millionaire all night with Tom Banks, because he knows everything.
Be fantastic.
Great.
Let's do it. So
you're more than welcome, Kerry. More than welcome to come on the show. I'll drop you a message and we'll sort it out. And we can make that happen, because that should be great to get you on the show. Definitely. And so we're down to 9. We're one off the final table here now.
I think Tony's odds have dropped dramatically. Look at it where he is at the moment.
There's only 9 players left.
Yeah, he's
lowest
short stack
now.
of the 9. Yeah, it's a tricky one from here for him.
Yeah, he's good enough.
I'm never quite sure whether when we start saying what players need to do, either for the MVP or for the team element, whether that does impact the dynamic at the table. I mean, you guys have been in that situation where you've heard us talk about you, or maybe a situation. Do you think other players at the table are always aware of what's going on with the team dynamic?
I mean, personally, I don't really look at the team dynamic sort of in the sort of daily tournaments. I think we've only really kind of looked at it this afternoon. I think Colin looked at it and sort of told everyone what they needed to do, which I think
how did that go, by the way? Yeah.
That's not going to be happening again, I can tell you.
I think that kind of put the biggest nail in the coffin for us tonight. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you come to a Sunday night and there's only a few points in it, then you might want to look at it. But I just don't think it's probably just too difficult to sort of work it out on your own and decide what you need to do. It's just a case of get the highest position you can get, really, I think.
Yes, I think that was what it basically came down to. I think I tried to work out what there is, but there's so many variants in it. I think after I'd tried to work out a lot of stuff, I think my general message to all the team was get on. This before I knew I was coming on the show. I said, tune into the show, because Leigh, as it gets on later into the competition, Leigh will tell you what we need to do. So, which usually is what happens. And I think, as I say, I know I've had one week where I was probably in the position that Tony was in now. I didn't realise I had a chance of topping the table. And then Leigh suddenly said that if I win it, I can be at the top, and of course I didn't. So,
but we've had some that have. That's what's been amazing on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Des and I have been here, and I've gone, well, okay, so and so needs to do this and this and this, and then you watch them do it, and you kind of think,
incredible.
Yeah, I actually think I did finish. I think I finished second. I needed to win it, and I finished second. But But yeah, it puts a bit of pressure on as well. But it's a good, especially somebody who plays quite tight like me. Suddenly, I had to open up a little bit and try and sort of give it all or nothing.
Do you ever go, oh shit, I wish he hadn't said that, because now anybody else at the table who's listening now knows that too?
I said, oh shit, when he sent me a message saying, do you want to come on the show?
That's how you get on the show, Carrie, right there. Oh, no.
To be fair, I mean, the reason Colin got it, because So Colin sent me a message earlier on, was just after a little bit of stats on the Sunday, just to get a rough idea of what they needed to do. So I sent it to him and then just thought, oh, well, I'll just go, well, don't suppose you've... And he very quickly went, yeah, go on then, why not?
Oh, brilliant, brilliant.
That's not what he said to me.
It wasn't very quickly. You know when if you watch on the films and they're doing texting on the films and you see the little dots going across where they're typing something and then they disappear. And then the dots come back because they then type, and that was me. I was like thinking, nah, I can't do that.
Well, I tell you guys, Wayne Parker's just doubled up against Andre. So Andre's been crippled. I mean, he's still got 724,000, but he's in a different position now on Tony's left than he was. Whether that gives Tony any, space to operate him, we'll have to see.
But he's still
and obviously Wayne is.
He is indeed.
Wayne is obviously in the team that are I think potentially could go on and win this. They've got Wayne and they've still got Paul Taylor in. So a deep run here for Wayne could catapult Cool as a Cucumber to top of the table.
Wow, Andre's in
potentially.
Andre's out.
And he's out.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. He was in and out. There's a song in that, I tell you.
And we're going to have our final table, I think, then, as we're down to 8. Yeah.
There we go. Oh,
wrong table.
Bugger, we lost the darn table.
You were doing so well with those coin flips, Des. For a good
Lee,
while.
I'd found the secret formula, but my touch seems to have just gone on that front. But there we go. It's up now.
Right, come on then, guys. Usual thing. Final table. Pick your horse. Who do you think is going to win this? We'll start with Colin. Who are you going for?
I'll go with Mr. Houston.
Okay. What about you, Stuart?
I think Wayne's got the momentum at the moment. We'll go Wayne.
Des, who are you going? You can't. Normally, Des would go. I pick Colin. But you can't do that.
I can't
tonight.
pick Colin. I normally pick Colin. He's let me down tonight. He's not at the bloody final. I'm going to go with Deborah Roberts.
I'm going to go for Salvatore. Salvatore from Belgium. I've been playing regularly now for the past few weeks.
Excellent.
Good player.
Got good chips as well.
Good stuff. And Paul
I did nearly pick
there,
Tony.
Short stack. Yeah,
Tony's in.
Tony's in.
He's got only Dan Houston to get by, and he does.
Oh dear, oh dear. So what we've got stories here then for anyone. Yeah, what we got stories for anyone just tuning in. Tony Trippier here needs to win this tournament to win the MVP and outdo one of our guests tonight, Colin McCarthy. In the team event at the moment, it's the wild cards that are just ahead of the A team by 0.22 of a point. I'm sure there must be some name for that, some sort of. But we're looking at. I'm trying to see who we've got left. It's definitely going to be Paul and Wayne on this final table for Cool as a Cucumber. I think they are probably the only team that can overtake the wild cards now
to win it.
So we're going to track how they to win it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do we know? I mean, are they looking at a first and second, or?
Well, they are 98 points behind at the moment, with the two of them to score. Paul's lowest score is 24 points. Wayne's is 20, so they're going to add significantly onto this.
I think they've probably won this, though, haven't they?
They might already have just about done it. Let's have a look. They're going to pick up 80 points.
They've got 60 apiece, haven't they, on top? So at least
they've got 80 on top. They need to ladder a couple of places, but yeah, if neither of them bust in the next couple, then I think they'll have done enough.
Pete wants to know, if Debbie wins, can the lockdown crew get top 2?
If Debbie wins, can the lockdown crew get top 2? What are we? 180. Debbie's lowest is 18, so she's going to add 162.
Wait a minute, she's all in.
She's in.
They will just miss out on top 2.
Just miss out. Oh, here we go. Well, she's got Cooler there a bit. Oh, she's queened it.
Oh, hits. On the river.
Chaz Kearns, that's got to hurt. That has got to hurt. But my pick, Deborah, doubles up.
Debbie's a good player.
Debbie is a good player.
Again, been playing regularly and these games with squads.
Chaz is in again.
Yeah, as Chaz says, nice river in the chat. Not a lot you can do about that. It's just pretty brutal stuff, really.
I think the guys are just checking this down. Maybe Dan's got a piece of it.
So when you guys hit the final table, I mean, and I'm guessing that a lot of the time, you know a good percentage of the players that are at the final table. Wow, what a
oh dear. Well,
Chaz
just came into the chat box and said that did hurt. He said it did sting a bit, Des, but he's made a bit of that back. Nice hand, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kerry's just asked you guys on a delay. It's about a 30-second delay. Obviously, we don't actually see anything more than you guys see at home. If you were just watching, there's no hole cards or anything that's showing. So we're on about a 30-second delay. We're always careful.
Don't you see the hole cards, Lee? Don't you see the whole? Don't you see the whole cards? No.
Well, no, because I'm dealing, so I haven't got time to see the whole cards. I've got to get the cards to all the players at the right time. So
I've got a string of them here. They just come up. It's like a slot machine.
Absolute nightmare.
Did you see?
And I'll tell you what, if that Tony Trippier doesn't tidy up that stack, I'm going to start getting really annoyed.
That's right. Big chips to the front. Come on, Tony. Yeah. We've been joined by none other than Tom Brady. When are we going to get Tom on the show, Lee?
Tom Brady?
Yeah, well, not that one. Not that one. Our one. The Tom Brady.
The problem is, it's he's not cheap. That's the issue you've got. For him to free up his Sunday night to come on here. I mean, I've seen the contract, and
it's what he wants in his trailer. It's the oranges and all of that sort of stuff. It's just expensive.
How many balls?
I said I haven't got. I don't have time on a Sunday afternoon to be peeling grapes for him. I mean, it's just not going to happen. We'd actually would love to get Tom on. I know he's been absolutely super busy. Obviously moving everything from the pub side of things live online as they have been all summer. But it would be good to get Tom on and have a little bit of an update on where we think we might be with live poker moving forward, because he's very much got his finger on the pulse with all of that.
What do you guys think? We haven't discussed that tonight. What do you think of the old plexiglass and all of that good stuff? When do you think will we be back playing poker live?
I mean, I hope it's going to be. I mean, some of them have already come out. I think Grosvenor, did they not say they've coming out next week? Is it?
They're opening, yes, but I think with maybe some cash poker, but certainly no tournaments yet. I think was what I've read.
Rainbow in Bristol, I think they've said it's third week of August for them.
Okay.
Have they
said what they're going to? Have they said what they're going to offer, or have they said that yet? Or
I haven't. All I've seen is what they've posted on their. I think their Facebook page. I think they've said that they're looking to open, but they haven't said what they're going to offer at the moment. I don't think so. I think in terms of going back to how we would look at normal poker, I probably see that by the end of the year.
Yeah. Would you if you could get a really cheap hazmat suit on Amazon, would you go back in one of those?
No, I'm quite happy. I'm quite relaxed about it, to be honest. I think there will be people that would be uncomfortable with doing it, but I'm fairly relaxed with it, if I'm honest.
That's fair.
What would make you? So when you say you think by the end of the year, do you think by the end of the year pretty much back to a kind of a normal tournament that we had pre-lockdown, or are you thinking that it might be kind of six-handed tournaments, or there'll be anything different about it? But you be comfortable with that towards the end of the year, just not now, but maybe towards the end of the year?
Me personally, I'm quite comfortable with it. I obviously know there's quite a lot of people that aren't so comfortable with it, but it's. I do see by the end of the year, I mean, there will be lots of things that will come back to normal. Fans at a football match, I think a lot of it will inevitably come back within the next sort of 3-4 months.
Yeah, I guess we'll, we're going to find out. I guess, yeah, time will tell. But I'm quite comfortable with us not being the first back in, because I would guess with all of the handling of chips and stuff like that, playing poker in a casino is probably right up there as the that border of what you might want to do or maybe what you might not want to do. So I guess we'll take a good steer from the likes of Dusk Till Dawn, which is very poker specific, because of course a casino can open and run occasional cash tournaments, cash games rather, and control that, more easily than bigger tournaments. But as Carrie has said, Kings has had live streams on Twitch. I've seen they're back. Peter Wigglesworth as well. Games
I think Live at the Bike are back as well, aren't they?
Are they? But Live at the Bike again. Is it a cash game? Are they streaming something?
There's
smallish?
a streamed cash game. I think it's still 8-handed. I think.
Uh-huh. I'm not sure how they're controlling that, but it's a bit of a moving feast. But I do get a sense that people are keen to want, or a lot of people are keen to want to get back to it. They're sort of getting antsy and itchy, sort of handed to go. But we'll just have to take our steer from the powers that be.
Yeah, so Scouse has just asked, what position does Dan need? So obviously Purple Ackies are still in with a shout of winning the team event as well, because Dan is still in the tournament 7-handed. His minimum for the week, his lowest score for the week is 28 points. And obviously Cooler as a cucumber have still got 2 in. So it's quite difficult to know exactly who needs to finish where at the moment while we're still 7-handed. Yeah. So I will keep an eye on it. But yes, Dan is looking for a deep run to try and win this for Purple Ackies. And as we know, when we talked to the guys a couple of weeks ago when we had Andy and Scouse on, they either win it or nothing. That's the way they look at it.
Yeah.
So.
Charlie Kearns just says good luck all. Obviously he just got knocked out there first on the final table. Gunther is in the chat box as well. It says he's been to Rosadoff, Benelux Open. So what was it like over there, Gunther? Was it a tournament you were playing? What were the conditions like on the tables, or was it a smaller event? Do let us know. I'm keen to find out.
It's interesting, actually. That's the question we just asked. There is one of the questions that Robbie asks the guests on this pilot first episode of the Orbit.
Pilot Leigh, you say?
That's coming out on Thursday, and the guests there are, we've got guys that report for Poker News and run the WPT and pro players, and it's really interesting to get their take on how they see things happening regarding plexiglass and tournament structures and when it might be. It's fascinating to listen to what they have to say, and you can watch that on Thursday night.
Tell you what I'm going to do, Lee. I'm going to run the teaser. Okay, let's see if I can do this.
Go for it.
Just to give the guys a sense of what we have coming up. There you go. So this is the teaser for this new show called The Orbit with Robbie Straczynski, piloting on Thursday.
Who's going to be the first to kind of take that risk to test the waters, so to speak? And
they don't seem to be on top of these kind of issues nearly as much.
A backing group that had all their players using a real-time solver. There's a video of someone using it a month ago.
Positioning themselves as a safe place and a friendly place for recreational players.
My name is Robbie Straczynski. Welcome to the first ever episode of The Orbit.
Poker player showed me his, we'll just call it a cheating operation.
I don't find them to have a strong security team. I don't find them to be at the cutting edge on these kind of things.
We've been around for a long time. Everyone knows us. It's important that we give that same feeling, homey feeling, when you play online and when you transfer from live to online.
GG Poker really became a big player in the online space really fast, and we're doing great up until this hiccup the other day with the World Series of Poker.
And they're telling me the games are super soft.
He was 6 of the players at that 8-handed table. I watched him do it.
There we go, guys. That is the Orbit with Robbie Straczynski coming this Thursday night. One of the guys who was speaking there, a guy called Ari Engel, who I think is an Israeli pro. He's got like $8 or $9 million in winnings live. He's won a lot of big events, got a World Series bracelet, number of rings and stuff like that. He was talking about one of the major brands in online poker being non-secure, or he doesn't feel they're as anywhere as good as some of the other brands. Some really interesting stuff to come out there, I feel.
I just want to know where are the soft games, Des, that they're talking about?
Soft games, they probably. I hope they're not talking about APAT, Leigh.
They're not going to be talking about APAT. We have had we've had pro players on this show that have kind of said they've looked at some of the play and some of the standard of play of APAT games and have been like, yeah, maybe
Steer
maybe
clear
I
of
won't
that for
play
a
these.
fiver.
Yeah,
I'm not going in there.
I don't think I'll bother. Yeah.
Listen, Gunther is back in the chat box. He played the main event at the Benelux Open, but it was pretty strange. Lots of players, almost no masks. So that sounds like business as usual, doesn't it? If there weren't any particular, conditions or lines or advice, or you eat your food at different times, or if there wasn't anything, then that is business as usual.
Got some bad news, Des. Whilst you were running the trailer.
Tony T, no. Where's
Tony has bust.
Tony. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear.
But what that does mean is...
Colin's had his second win of the night.
I can confirm that...
He's not even playing. He's had his second win of the night.
After picking his own ticket out the raffle, he's now... Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Oh.
I told you, look...
He's now confirmed as Game Week 16 MVP. So well played, Colin. Good stuff.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Congrats, Colin. That's no mean feat topping that particular leaderboard. Well done.
Thank you.
And to be honest, when you finished wherever you did finish tonight, you scored about 19 points, didn't you? So that's not. You must have thought I was. What were you 7 points ahead? I think going into that.
Yeah, I don't think it was a lot. That's why I couldn't work out. How I've managed. I mean, don't go through the numbers again. Don't double check.
Yeah, don't check anything.
But,
it's fine.
Well, if that you're lucky because I think it's literally because Brendan doesn't play on a Sunday night. Or very rarely do I see Brendan Byrne play on a Sunday night because Brendan could have caught you as well, but he's not playing tonight. So, but that's the whole point of squads. Yeah, the whole point of squads is that players dip in and out when they want, and that was the whole point of structuring it the way we did. I mean, I still say this every time this kind of subject comes up, is I'm amazed at the number of players that will commit to 7 nights a week or week after week. They want to do that, and that's great that they do. It's absolutely amazing, but it was certainly never set up to be like that. It was aimed to be as flexible as possible for during lockdown to give players the chance to play when it worked out for them, really. So.
Yeah, I think, as I say, for us, that's why I think when I was messaging you earlier, it was a case of, this is our final push. We discussed in our chat that, sort of things are opening up now. Other things people are doing other things. Some people are back to work. And so our whole team have been virtually playing 7 nights a week. And we've sort of said, well, I'm going to cut back probably. I'll probably still end up playing 6 or 7, but I'm sort of saying I'll play 4, maybe 5, probably. And I think Tom was sort of saying, he might cut down a couple, and so we sort of took the pressure off ourselves of performing every single night. So that's why we wanted that little push tonight. But
Job well done, I would say. Gunther
Asa just said JFS commit to 3 a week. He said, and then we end up playing 6 or 7. It's like
that's probably what we'll be doing.
That's right. Just report them to the responsible gambling people, Leigh. That's worrying behavior, that is. Gunther was saying, I think they got 155 in that tournament. I think that's what he's saying. He's saying it was nice to play. Long time since I played live. So I definitely understand.
Well, I know one of my nights that I'm definitely missing out is a Wednesday. The knockout just isn't for me. And I think I've played all the knockouts, and I think I've managed to take one knockout. And I haven't had any cash or anything like that, so I'm quite happy to sit out on Wednesday.
They're funny tournaments because they're quite popular, and I've seen Rich Prue post in the Party Poker UK community forum a number of times talking about how popular the PKO, the Progressive Knockout Bounty tournaments are. I don't really kind of get them and enjoy playing them myself. I don't really kind of see the dynamic that it adds that makes it more enjoyable, but they do seem to be quite popular on Party.
I find them more aggressive. They're definitely people just gunning for your bounty. They just tend to be really quite aggressive against you. So they are quite tough.
Sounds perfect for a lag. If we only knew a lag, I mean, it sounds ideal, doesn't it? Yes.
Oh, the abuse you get here! I tell you, it's unreal.
Yeah.
But I think that's where I've struggled, is that I play. I'm sitting there folding hands, and everybody else is sort of throwing it in with two cards because they're the same colour, and it's you suddenly find that I find that I'm never in a position to take anybody out because I've sort of limped away too many chips here and there that I become the one that they all gun for them because I'm the short stack.
It always amazes me when I put the results in.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, you're not a high-low.
I'm not. I really hate the 08 variant. I much preferred straight PLO. It's. I think 08 requires a lot of poker skill, if I'm honest, and also requires. I just think that you need to understand a lot more about the hands that you open with and where you're going to get stuck, especially with I think it's the same with stud 08 as well. It's a straight stud is again completely different game to the 08 version. I think they just both require that different level of knowledge of the game, really.
I tell you, it was one of my favorite parts of the whole APAT show series. Episode 46 today, guys. One of my favorite parts was early on, like in week 2 or something. We had Pete Wigglesworth on, and it was an 08 night, and he just gifted us with such a lot of really, golden nuggets of information on how to play 08, right? Don't waste chips, certain hand ranges. I thought he was a sensei of the game. That's what I felt coming out. I thought, my God, this man, he just knows stuff. It's incredible. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, we had Kai Hutchinson on, right? And, we asked in hushed tones, so Kai, how do you play the game? And he said, I just splash the pot. Just get them in early, see what happens. Then, raise and re-raise. And I was like, it was chalk and cheese. It was absolutely fabulous to hear how you can take different approaches to the game and still be bloody good at, the variant. It was incredible stuff. I've learned a huge amount over these few weeks, I have to say.
So I'm the opposite to Stuart. I actually like the PL08. But again, it's playing those smaller pots. I find that early on, try and see as many flops as you can, because people do tend to limp early on. And but it's knowing when I've always found that the dynamic changes at a certain point through the game. All of a sudden, once people start getting low stacked, they then start to raise up. And it's to make sure that you stop doing your little limping in at the point where you don't start losing too many chips. Because obviously as the blinds go up, it becomes more expensive to keep limping as well. So I've always found that play at a small pot as you can early on, but just don't get carried away with it too far into the tournament.
I see Tom Banks is in the chat box, guys. He obviously went to the same, snooker room as Fred Davis. He goes on to say, was given some great advice. Don't fall in love with your hand. And if you didn't hear the earlier parts of the show, I'm not sure I can explain it to you now.
I was going to say that's going to make no sense. Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat later for him.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I think I gave him that advice.
Yeah, so Aces says, so many strategies in PL08. The fun is employing the right strategy against the right person. And that's the beauty of poker, right? Timing, there are so many variables. And then that's what's great about the game. You can be a fantastic player and just fall by one of those variables. You can be a really average player and actually benefit through one of those variables. It's not a science.
No, yeah, I think the PL08. I definitely follow Kai's strategy of.
Oh, we knew you would, Stu. We knew you would. That was never in doubt.
If I ever do play 08, I do tend to, try and make the pot as big as possible pre-flop.
One cash on the Hendon Mob, you say, Lee? One cash?
yeah, just the one. Yeah,
just the one. Was that in PL08?
So no, it wasn't. No, it was main event. It was the main event of the world.
The main one, I know, the big one.
15th out of 400 and whatever. Very
phenomenal.
Impressive. So just watching the last hand before the break there, and so Dan wins a decent pot against Wayne. So obviously, what the dynamic we've got here is that Dan's going for the win for Purple Ackies, and you've got Wayne and you've got Paul both playing for Cool as a Cucumber, who are, so the difference between those two teams at the moment is only 8 points, but obviously they've got 2 players to the one for Purple Ackies, but both of them are likely to score enough points here to end up top 2, I reckon, in the team by the end of this. I would imagine, unless they all bust the next 3 exits, but they're all looking reasonably stacked at the moment. So we'll see how this plays out.
There's only one really short stack here, isn't there, Deb?
Yeah. Blinds are 50,000, 100,000. So yeah, the others have got pretty much. Yeah.
Frank Bailey asked an interesting question, Lee. He says, where is Mr. 40? Now, what Frank won't know is that actually we've employed Matt Dale to fulfill the role of Steve 40 over the last 12 or 13 weeks. And since lockdown has moved, Matt has now gone to France to open up his activity holidays business. So, unfortunately, no Steve now.
He's now Monsieur 40.
I'll tell you what.
I don't think Steve played tonight.
Maybe having a night off.
No, he bust. He bust early. He went out in 95th. I think he's actually played most games this week. Steve has, but I haven't seen him on the stream for a couple of weeks. But he's still playing.
Was he not? He must have been on last weekend. I'm sure he was.
Last week's show? What, the Andy Black show? No, I don't think he was on that one.
We have to give Andy a call back. I'll tell you.
Did he miss?
It's a
Tell him the coast is clear. Yeah,
that's right. Listen, the weirdest thing happened a couple of days ago. You know that your memories on Facebook, they pop up every now and again. Well, one popped up from 2010, right? I kid you not. Now, I know that's the year that both Colin and Stuart cashed. Just coincidence, I assure you. But
what I remember it for. That's for sure.
I swear to God, a post popped up in my memories from a guy I went to school with, who posted something to me in 2010. I have no idea how this conversation came about. And he said, "Hey, Des, if you bump into Andy Black, will you tell him Curly, the Hare Krishna guy from Dublin, said hello?" This was in 2010. Wow. 2010. I've still got to pass that message on.
Wow. I think I saw Tom Banks earlier on in the chat saying that he's got a mutual friend with our Tom Brady from something or other that links through. So
it might be somebody that looks like Tom Brady, because Tom Brady looks like quite a few people, right? And he does. You know, I watched something last night. I'm sure I saw Tom Brady in it. And he wasn't like any of the other Tom Bradys I know.
No.
He's just, you know, he's got a face that looks like a lot of people.
That's for
it's
sure.
Incredible.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Bowden Hunt says me and me. He can't be looking to enter the
I think
draw,
Bowden's
can he?
a bit late. Yeah, I think he's a bit late for the...
Oh, he wanted both of those tickets.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah, unfortunately.
Hold on, he's replying to Greg. Who's Greg? I might need to go back.
So Bode is in the wild cards, which is captained by Greg Mawson. So I think Greg.
That was for the draw, right?
Put in for the draw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, Bowden. That draw was made about 40 minutes ago.
Yeah. So their wild cards are still currently top of the table at the moment. Gunther's in that team as well, actually, along with Gary Young. So. But I think either the Purple Ackies or Cool as a Cucumber are going to end up overtaking them with 6 players remaining here now. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. So have you guys got any sort of any poker plans then for the, you know, we spoke about all of the great stuff that's online at the moment. Is it a case of kind of feeling that, well, we're coming out of lockdown and so it's all going to sort of calm down? Because at the moment the poker online still seems to be crazy. There's WSOP bracelets and WPT, and Stars are still doing their stadium thing, and obviously you've got W Coop just around the corner as well. It doesn't seem like it's going to stop this deluge of online poker.
Well, as I say, I prefer playing live to online, but obviously I had no choice but to play online. I've certainly got a bug back for it, and as I say, with my results from playing on APAT, I'm enjoying online a little bit more than I used to, because I'm not losing as much. And yeah, so I mean, again, I'm actually got the bug back. As I say, I'd love to be playing live again, although I can't see that happening soon for me with other things going on. But certainly next year.
Yes, and another one on the way. When's it due?
7th of October is the due date.
Okay, cool.
Fantastic.
I've actually also usually on that same weekend there's usually a big pool competition I play in, and I might have to miss that as well.
I think you're going to be banned from that weekend.
Such bad time. Sorry.
I think you're going to be banned from that weekend. You've got
I've got a feeling that is going to happen. Yes.
I don't think you're going to have any chance of that.
I was going to say it's probably waiting to see. It's funny, the pool event is quite similar probably to live poker and things like that. The event that it's playing in, it's an interleague, so it's all the
big one.
All the finalists from all the interleagues over the whole of the country turn up actually at Great Yarmouth, so it's just down the road from me, which is good. Put it this way, you tend to have about 100. I think the last one that we played in, there was 133 teams, and a team consists of a minimum of 9 players.
Oh, brilliant.
So, as I say, you've got 15, and then you get spectators. So you've got 1,500 people turning up to a campsite at Great Yarmouth, not a campsite, a holiday site at Great Yarmouth. Now, how that's going to work, because again, you've got 2 teams of 9 playing a match against each other. So you've got 18 people hugging around a 7 by 4 foot table, and all touching it, and touching the balls and touching the cloth and things. So as I say,
how many tables do they put in for something like that?
They've got about 60 tables.
Wow.
The event, what the main room that they have, where they obviously in normal times of their holiday they put all the shows on and everything like that, and they've got masses of tables everywhere. All the tables and chairs get taken away, stuck around the edge of the room, and they bring all the pool tables in, and in the one room they put there's 40 odd tables in one room, and then they have about another 20 odd in another.
Do they have a good streaming operation, Colin?
They do, yes. They have 4 tables on a main stream.
Fantastic.
Which is good to watch. As I say, there's a lot of players, and again, it's a good team. It's a good team event. You've got 9 players. It's a little bit it does get quite noisy in the room. You know, you've got all these teams playing, and it is a little bit more sort of like the Moscone Cup type thing. You know, there's the banging and the cheering and the shouting, and it's a really good event. But as I say, whether we get to October and that actually goes ahead,
time will tell.
We'll have to say. I mean, I hope it doesn't, because then I don't have to make a decision that the wrong decision.
Is there a decision to really? Is there actually a decision?
No. We
is it that or divorce, Colin?
Well, I'm living in sin anyway, so
I'm living in sin, he said. Fantastic. Great.
So we haven't got round to that bit.
Does that mean that she's going to be less unhappy if you die?
I don't know. She'd probably be very happy if I did.
She's got the insurance sorted.
That's right.
He might be doing the killing.
Fantastic!
Oh wow! What a turn in the river.
Oh,
Jack 10 for Debbie against Liam. So it was 5s, and then
I told you guys, Debbie's going to do it.
Runner for Broadway. Very nice.
I told my better half last week. I said I'm going to go to Liverpool for the the trophy lift. I'm just going to stand outside the stadium like everybody else. And she gave me that stare. You know the stare. Now I know you don't know my other half, but she has the stare exactly the same as your other halves. It's exactly the same. And I didn't challenge it at all. I just thought, no, I'm not going. It's not worth it.
Part of me thought you had gone to Liverpool. I just thought he's bound to. He's just going to go.
I was tempted.
Yeah.
I was tempted. If it hadn't been so far away, I've got to be honest. I think I might have gone.
I think that's why. Because I think that's why when girls go to the toilet, they always go together and always in there for a long time, because I think they're busy looking in the mirror, checking out the stare, and giving each other pointers.
I think you could be right.
So they all get it right.
Perfected in the loo. You could well be right.
I was going to say, Des, I'm surprised you even brought it up. I mean, you could probably have just gone, yeah, she's going to...
It's a mistake. We do that, Yeah. We still, you see, I think it's built into most blokes. They know it's wrong. They just need affirmation from their other half that it's wrong. On the off chance that the other half might say, yeah, okay, you go and do that. Then it's right. Immediately, you've got that big tick. It's right. Your initial reaction was inaccurate.
But Des, as a gambling man, you should know that the odds are really not stacked in your favour, are they?
I still needed that affirmation. It's what my world looks like under the thumb, I have to say. That's fine.
I've got to go for that long shot, isn't it, Des?
Yeah. No, I think, and here's the ironic thing. She's been away this week. I could have slipped up there. Nobody would have been any the wiser.
That's why I said I thought you'd gone. To be honest, but what would you've done? You'd only been stood out in the street with I mean, the fireworks look better on the TV, surely.
Yeah. So that's the odd thing. Of course, if you stood outside the tournament, you're missing the goddamn thing you've waited 30 years for, which is the trophy lift, right?
And to be fair, I actually thought, and this is coming from a United fan, I genuinely thought they did as good a job of that.
They did a great job, didn't they?
In the circumstances, visually, and what they did with it was as good as it was gonna. It was gonna be. It was quite entertaining to watch the guy from the Premier League trying to fist bump players that just wanted to hug him and shake his hand, and he was very guy. Whereas Kenny Dalglish just got.
Kenny was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah, I just know we're going to go with the flow here, but
well, listen, we know all of these guys have been tested sort of inside and outside. So, frankly, if you intend to stand on the stand in front of a worldwide audience, then get into the flow of it, or just frankly don't be up there. So Kenny was brilliant. The other guy, I don't know if you recognized or realized, but whoever the first player that actually shook his hand, he physically shook his hand, Richard Masters, who's now the CEO of the Premier League, put his hand down by his side, and it's like he stretched his fingers out as if to try and shake off the virus that had almost certainly just landed upon him. It was climbing up his arm. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, it felt very awkward. It was quite funny. But it was great, and I think it's thoroughly deserved, and as good a job as they could have done in the circumstances.
Yeah, I mean,
but you knew they were all going to gather outside the stadium and have a party. And
not too many of them did.
Whatever the council and the police. I
think they said about 3,000 or something, which is a lot of people, obviously. But put 3,000 in a stadium, and they're going to be a very small crowd indeed.
Wasn't there was it the French Cup final that had?
Yes.
Yeah, wasn't the French Cup final had 5,000 in the ground?
Yeah, and to be honest,
for something, and they started. And I saw somebody post earlier on saying that Goodwood, is it next week, is trialing with people back.
Well, it's going to be people back at the World Snooker Championship at the end of the month, but I think they're only selling like 400 tickets or something. Now the Crucible is small. It's got a capacity of about 800, maybe 900 max.
I think it's just over 900. I think
that's right. So they're gonna give out somewhere in the region of, I think it's about 400 tickets. So it's a trial event.
Is that the capacity at the Crucible, really?
Oh yeah. It's part of the appeal of it, right? It's tiny. So
I always thought it was way more than that. Oh wow, okay.
It's one of the smaller venues out there, but it's the history behind it. But it's a government trial event. So you have to bring your own rest to a snooker tournament these days, Lee. It's not just your cue. You got to bring your rest. And what are they doing with the long rest? You can't bring one of them, right?
What they've tended to be doing now is they put you get a whole set to yourself. Yeah, a whole set of extensions all to yourself over one side, and that's yours to use, and you use that. There was one of the tournaments on the telly a month back, whatever. It was the first one that they were doing, and one of the players accidentally went across to the other bloke's rest stand and took one of his, and they had to stop. They stopped the match and had everything cleaned down, had new sets brought in and all sorts. So yeah, they're quite strict on that. But it's quite funny because they're quite strict on doing that, and then the referee comes around to look at something, and the players there, the referee's there, and they're right close to each other talking, discussing. It's like I think it was a foul and a miss, and they were discussing where the ball should go back, and they're right next to each other. So it's quite a strange sort of thing. But then it's a funny habit.
This is what's weird. This is what's weird about a lot of this is you listen to the rules and the guidelines, and then you kind of go, well, but it doesn't often make logical sense, because you think, well, why is that any different to that, or why is that any different to that? And
they're also
putting
they're also putting thousands of handprints on a highly polished table, handprints on top of handprints. So it's one thing to say, well, you can't use my rest, but we're all putting our hands. I mean, think down by the black spot.
Well, I know they the same as like with the footballers. All the guys who are in the competitions, all the referees, everything, they've all been tested.
Yeah,
they're all tested, and then they have to stay in their hotel rooms until they're required to play the match and things like that. So they've there's, I suppose, if everybody's proved as negative, then they should be able to do things. But then if they've all been proved negative, why can't they use the same rest? The same rest.
Yeah, it's if you've watched any other of the sporting events that have come back. So I don't know if you guys have seen any of the UFC. They all get tested, and weirdly, if you watch the commentators, they've all been tested, but they have to sit sort of 50 feet apart. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem to make any sense, really. If you're testing everyone, why would you need to have everyone 50 feet apart if everyone's negative?
It is a bit odd. Ace is saying he played cricket today. We had to sanitize the hands every 6 overs. So I suppose sanitizing the hands, fair enough. But was somebody similarly rubbing down the bat handles and the balls?
Yeah, I just don't think any of the rules are making any sense at the moment. Certainly with the professional things where you see that, the fact that they're all tested, but I was watching some baseball this afternoon, and you've got every single player has been tested every day almost. And when they're out in the field, they don't wear masks. But if you see them in the dugout, they're wearing masks, and it just really doesn't make any sense, because what's the difference between
they're in a safe zone, right?
Well,
this is what I don't understand with the Premier League football is the medical team are all in masks and visors and aprons, and then they're sat right next to the substitutes that aren't. Then the fourth official is, and they're all in the same sort of area, and the coaches aren't. And
they're fairly spread out, aren't they? The subs tend to be up in the
but not when they're walking, when they're coming on the pitch or they're warming up. The whole thing just seems a little bit like, well, it feels like it's done for show, and it's just like, oh yeah, no, we are sticking to this and following this, and we're not going to do. And the one I love is you get the coaches or whatever, they'll kind of fist pump at the end, and then they shake each other's hands anyway.
Yeah, and have a hug
afterwards. It's like, so we've done that. Yeah, we've done that. What we do. Then you're like, well, okay.
Yeah, but it's happy time. Happy time at the end, right? Yeah. So Asa said didn't have to bring. There was no other stuff happening. Nothing else was required apart from bringing our own teas and drinks. Fair enough. Bring your own oranges to football. That's fair enough. And the same to cricket. Scouts wants to know, Lee. Just one left from each team. Can you update, please? Lee, obviously Dan wins where we need Wayne out. Obviously,
I was about to say and give them the numbers as Wayne's just bust in fourth.
Holy gosh. Okay, well,
so now just as I was about to tell them that if Dan wins, they'd need to get Wayne busted in third place.
Okay. So Dan just needs to win.
So that's changed that because basically Cool as a Cucumber have now lost both their players. So I'm just going to work out whether Dan needs to win or whether a second. I think it's going to need to be a win. I'm pretty sure a win.
Well, if while you're working that out, if I can just ask Stu, I want to know how, if he's got 3 children, how has he managed to watch sport this afternoon? I think I've watched Monsters Inc. and Frozen.
Yeah. He snuck a second telly into the house.
No, well, we've got 3 tellies, and you between Minecraft on the Xbox.
Oh, amen! I've got one of them.
And then, as I say, Frozen or something on that one, and of course, with a pregnant female in the house as well, she goes up to the bedroom to watch something completely different, and I'm not going to fight with her.
No, I mean, I tend to kind of, I'll put my little boy to bed. He's usually in bed by about 6:30, 7 o'clock. He'll be 3 in a week or so's time, and my 2 girls are a bit older, so they kind of stay up a bit longer now. And I just kind of sneak away into the bedroom with my laptop, and I'll have the poker on, and I'll also have TV on the laptop. It'll be in the background.
How many kids has Tom Banks got?
I
don't know.
He'll know that.
Tom will know. Do you reckon Tom will know? You reckon Tom will know the answer? I was just curious because Kerry's just said she's got 4 kids. You've technically got 3 each. So you've got a lot. There's a lot of kids in your team. Actually, I'm surprised between the 4 of you've got any time to be playing poker. It's just
that's good pension planning, Lee. That's what that is. I sit down with my 2 little ones. Right, you've got let me think, 5 and 7. Right. And just before the match starts, I'll sit down with them and say, hey, kids, Dad wants the telly now, okay? It's scream time. And they normally just run off very, very quickly into their rooms to hide under the beds for a little while. It's all very agreeable. I remember one.
So Dan needs to win this for Purple Ackies to
there we go.
To win the team event. Currently, it's Cool as a Cucumber who are top. But Dan is going to need a win here. If he wants to for Purple Ackies to win the team event for the week.
So Carrie's out of the WPT. I didn't even know she was playing in the WPT. I missed that.
She was playing the $33.
Okay, unlucky tonight, Carrie. It just went very card dead and got too short. I think we're all familiar with that particular story. Gunther says, "Come on, Salvatore. His good friend know him from Club Poker in Belgium. Do you know Club Poker, Lee? Huge sort of community. France.
Oh yes, that's
Belgium.
Yes, I do. Yes.
We did a little bit of stuff with them going back some years ago. So Salvatore's getting a call up there. Obviously, I'm calling for Debbie. And Dan will get a lot of love because he's very popular within APAT. So there are no bad winners here, guys. And Tom has come back and said, "Ooh, I know this," but he hasn't actually come back with an answer yet. He's counting on his fingers.
He's taking his socks and shoes off.
He is.
He might not know.
Which is a Norfolk family planning process, I believe.
But it would be, to be fair, it would be the first question we've asked, which Tom hasn't known the answer to.
So Phil says, is it more or less than Boris Johnson, which doesn't really help at all?
Because he doesn't know.
Are we talking about their team? Are we talking about their team total number of children, or just just Tom?
Oh, I tell you, just a few guys amusing ourselves on a Sunday night, hey? Oh, here we go. So 2 of my own, 33 and 26. Wow, 33 is a good age. 3 stepkids. Oh, we're in Brady Bunch territory now. And my grandson is 1 in September. There's a link to Maisie Makes Videos. I need to check that one in my own time. And yeah, wow. Never a dull moment there, Tom.
Yeah, but that's that team. That's ridiculous. The A team of I don't know how you have time to actually play poker. It's quite mad. I mean, the football this afternoon was
when you've got the number of kids that we've got, you've got to have something to
exactly. It's escapism.
I must admit, I was on 2 screens for the football this afternoon because obviously it was watching United somehow managing to get a Champions League.
Oh, Debbie Roberts
don't quite know how we do this.
He's going to double here.
Yeah, she certainly is. Ace King versus Ace Queen.
Well, she was on the other end of that. The other.
Yeah. And then I had one other eye on.
She was on the other end and got that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I had one other eye on the Bournemouth. Well, the Bournemouth result was good. So then I was watching the West Ham Aston Villa game, hoping West Ham would sneak a late winner so that Bournemouth would stay up, which are my local team. But not to be after 5 years in the Premier League. Bournemouth. I don't see a club like Bournemouth easily coming back up again in any time soon. Unfortunately,
I think they'll be like Swansea or Blackpool, where they've come up, they've had their little fun in the sun, and
unfortunately the ground and infrastructure is not big enough. Yeah, there's too many teams down there now that are really proper big teams with big support and bigger ground and infrastructure.
I think if you look at the Championship, I mean, I'm not a huge football fan, but my local team. Bristol City, if you look at the sort of teams in the Championship, there's at least 15 in there that have got massive backing and big, almost as much as the Premiership. Some of those teams, I mean, Cardiff are kind of yo-yoing between the Premier League and Championships, as West Brom.
I mean, how Stoke ended up where they are. They were kind of shoo-ins in the Premier League for years and years. So.
And there's no shortage of cash there, right? They're owned by the Coates, Bet365. So it's just incredible that they've been allowed to fall away like they have. But the Championship is brutal. It has to be the most brutal league in world football because there's lots of big clubs there. But there's 46 games, right? So you're playing an extra 8 games over the Premier League. And it's just the prize is huge. It's a brutal league.
If you look at the table for the Championship, the 3 relegated teams this year have all been in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Charlton,
Wigan,
and Hull.
Look at Sunderland. It's
Barnsley. I mean, look at those teams at the bottom there. I mean, Middlesbrough. I mean, they are bottom half this year.
They could have gone down on the last day. Yeah, it's insane.
Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Could they?
Yeah, they were absolutely in the mix. We had Stuart Ward, who's a big Borough fan, who was, a bit of a nervous wreck. I'm sure he'd unashamedly say, "Oh, what's happening here?"
Debbie was ahead, but she's bust Salvatore, and we're now heads up. Dan is what 3.5 to 1 chip dog here, but he needs to win. Yeah. So let's see how this heads up goes.
So clearly, Leigh, these final tables are determined by who I pick.
Yeah, well, it would appear
not
that
saying
way,
this is
wouldn't it?
over yet, but
Well, you picked Salvatore.
no, I picked Debbie.
No, I picked Salvatore. Yeah, no,
sorry.
That's
Des
all right.
picked Debbie, and to be fair, Debbie was
She was short. She's
wasn't the
600k.
shortest stack, but she
wasn't far off.
She wasn't far off the shortest stack when this started. Yeah, so actually, yeah. Tom Banks makes a good point. Not for the first time tonight. What a turnaround with Swansea. 6-goal turnaround with Forest, and Forest missing out on the playoffs.
And Swansea got a very useful win in their playoff match today. So, what a possible return to the Premier League could mean to them.
What do you make of these? So obviously we've put our rules back in place now for mainland Spain, but the Champions League games happening next month are happening in Portugal, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they could quite easily be that mainland Portugal ends up going the same way, where all of a sudden we're in quarantine and not allowing people to travel or whatever.
Well, I think Real Madrid.
It's weird, isn't it?
Real Madrid are having to come over to play Man City. Right, in whatever it is.
How does that work? Yeah.
The government have given them an exemption. So because they're so heavily tested, they've got a corridor so they can come through and go straight back again.
Okay.
That's what money gets you, isn't it, really?
Well, it does feel like it's a bit like, well, this is the rules, but actually at the end of the day, if you can afford to be tested twice a week, we can pretty much break those rules.
So Carrie says Colin is like whatever to this conversation about football. I think she's absolutely right. Colin's gone quiet. We can't allow that to happen.
I'm still here.
We cannot allow that to happen for much longer. So guys, how do you play a heads up then? Do you approach it differently? Do you practice that or?
Usually for me, it's badly. I've had a lot more seconds than I have firsts, I think.
Oh dear.
I think heads up is it's one of those things where you can't really folding hands is unprofitable.
Yeah.
Generally, I think that's the same as you go down from 9-handed all the way down. So the more you go down, 6 max, 4 max, and then the sort of level of hands that you even consider folding is diminishes really. So heads up, it's very rare, unless somebody's obviously shoved on you or 3x raised or whatever.
Oh, Cole, I'm going to stop you there. There's a big hand brewing here. Debbie invited Dan to have a bet on the term, which he did, and she called it. We've seen a third club on the river. There's all sorts of draws there. Debbie's checked. Oh, it's Kings against 10-3. Wow, that's interesting. Sorry, Colin. Sorry about that.
No, I was going to say you.
It was Stu. Sorry.
The Kings. Dan's loving the flop, and then is just hating the rest of that board because you've genuinely got to be. You've genuinely got to be going. How are my Kings good here? But obviously, when you're up against 10-3, then they are.
I'm gonna say I think I like to consider myself a bit of an expert at laddering. I always seem to manage to hang in, especially on the final tables and something. But I think, as I say, if I get to that sort of heads up or 3, I tend to then sometimes struggle. I don't open up enough as I want to. As like Stu just said, it's sort of folding is a no heads up, but I will fold. I will fold quite a few. If I've got a rubbish hand, I'll fold it. Yeah. And it's probably something I shouldn't do, but.
And you definitely, I don't think you'd fold if you've got the chip lead. Definitely, I mean, Deborah just folded a hand to a min raise just then, and I definitely wouldn't do that. But at least see the flop for a min, for a min call. It's especially if you've got a chip advantage as well.
Here we go. It's a race.
Call.
She's got to hit a queen or a jack.
Lots of outs.
Or a king or a 4 now. Lots of counterfeiting options as well there, but doesn't get it.
That's a huge hand for Dan.
Now takes Dan takes a massive with twos never lose. And that's a massive chip lead now for Dan, and Debbie's all in, and Dan's going to call King 9 against
Queen or Jack again. She
wow,
hits
wow,
this
what a flop.
And again, and here comes the diamond, surely.
Double up for Debbie. I mean, to be honest, to hit top pair with the flush draw is as pretty much nice a flop as you're going to see.
Yeah.
She's in again. Dan thinks not this time.
This is quite an aggro heads up. It is.
Yeah.
I know we were just saying that Debbie's let a couple go there, but actually is now both of them are pretty much just getting a chips in.
I mean, there's only sort of 15 blinds at the bottom, so shoving is probably the only way you're going to get someone to fold there.
Yeah.
Yeah, blinds are 100k, 200k at the moment. So Debbie's sat on 15 bigs now, and
yeah, so she's on that stack where
Dan's got about 40. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're raising, you're putting a big proportion of your stack in. So if you're going to raise at all, you can be shoved on. So you may as well get it in first. Oh wow,
ace 8 against ace 9, and then less the.
I think
Dan's
not
going to. That's it, and Dan is going to win this one.
Wow.
So
I believe I chose Dan. That's the lucky 8 ball for him.
Oh, there we go, guys. That is it, right? There is no more poker. So, well done to Dan on taking that down. Who won the roller in the end, Lee? I didn't recognize the last 3 players. I don't think. Did you catch a winner?
Yeah, I did. So it was Advinis that won. Jan Katis. He picked up $666 for that.
Okay.
Jacko Polte was in second, $414. Joe Gaynard finished in third for $266, and Martin Muslow was in fourth for $133 in the end.
Fantastic. And do you want to do a quick totting up on the squads?
Yeah, I can do once it just works its way through. Bear with me a second. So, but for anyone who didn't see there, so Dan Houston won the squad tonight, picking up $138. Debbie Roberts in second, and Salvatore Pino in third. As we already mentioned earlier on, our very own guest tonight, Colin McCarthy, somehow managed to hang on to the MVP at the top of the top of the leaderboard. So very well done. Very well done to him. And coming from out of nowhere, it was a bit of a weird night in squads. The teams at the top all bust fairly early on, and we've ended up that the Purple Ackies, with a win for Dan, has secured game week 16. So well done to Dan, Scouts, Bill Shepherd, and Jamie Edgill. Isn't that another week where they've won it, where Andy King and the captain's not been playing? I think that happens. I think that happens quite regularly. Yeah, and second place ended up being Kool-Aid Cucumber, which was Phil Coles, Paul Taylor, Wayne Parker, and Igor Asimov. They finished in second. Unfortunately, the wild cards and the A team, Colin and Stu's team, just missed out in third and fourth. But very well done to everybody. And obviously, we'll be back with squads again from tomorrow for game week 17.
Fantastic. Well, listen, it's only left to say a big thank you to Colin and Stuart for spending their evening with us tonight. We weren't so lucky for your poker, guys, but I hope you enjoyed it, and it was an absolute pleasure having you both on.
It's been very enjoyable. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Oh, good stuff, guys. As Lee said, folks, to all of you out there watching in, a normal poker schedule through next week. Lee and I will be back next weekend with the APAT show. And, it just is left to me to say, thank you for being with us this evening and for playing the games.
Don't forget Thursday night.
Yeah, The Orbit with Robbie Straczynski.
If you go on to twitch.com or twitch.tv/poker and subscribe or register up on there. It's premiering on Thursday night. Trust me, Des and I have had a chance to see a lot of the content for this, and it's well worth a watch for an hour. It really is. It's really, really good stuff. So please do tune in and watch that. We'll put some more promo and stuff about it out on the APAT group during the week.
Pretty good. Okay, guys. So I shall say that's a wrap. Good night, and we'll see you all next week. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Night. Cheers.
you.